But I think the development of full artificial intelligence would spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody is checking it out.
I don't know whether rockets or whatever, but incredibly fast, almost the direction. It was too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
You said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help!
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0.
Self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio.
Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest. Into the digital darkness. Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. I'm here with your co-host tonight, Ash, the reptilian from Mars. And we'd like to say hello to all of you who might also have troubled minds. What's up, guys? It's Wednesday night, and that's one of the nights we get together to talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific. We're on the Fringe FM, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and D-Live. And all of those things we're not allowed to talk about. You know what they are. Aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the overall feeling that we live in the upside down. This show is live, as I mentioned. If you want to be part of the show tonight at any point, give us a call at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can also join the Discord at troubledminds.org. That's the official website. You can find the phone number, the Discord link, all the social media, troubledminds.org. That's the one-stop shop for all you need for Troubled Minds. And the website's a little broken right now, so don't worry about that. Nothing to see there. Don't worry about that little guy. Just worry about the phone number and the Discord link on top. Those are the two most important things, and you can find the podcast and everything else there as well. All right. What's up, Ash? Earth to Ash. Tune in, Ash. Do you copy on Mars? You out there, my friend?
You know, there's quite the storm going on, but I'm here. I'm here, Mike.
Nice.
I'm glad to be with you and your viewers tonight.
Nice. How was the trip to? I think you went to Saturn, right, or was it Jupiter? I believe you were somewhere in one of those places.
Oh, I don't know. I was so messed up. It could have been either one at that point. I'm not even sure.
Okay, fair enough. Well, welcome back in any case. So tonight we have as James in the chat says, we're reading the chat, guys. Facebook, YouTube, D-Live. James in the chat says, interesting concept. What is that interesting concept? You want to start us out with the superpower blurb, and then we'll get rolling here?
Yeah, I mean, today's modern culture is fascinated with superheroes and superpowers and all these kind of sort of fantastical ideas, Superman, Wolverine, all these characters, and Marvel's like if you don't have a Marvel movie, a superhero movie, you're not going to be like number one in the box office anymore, you know? But what if this is some sort of manifestation of something of something true, of maybe humans ourselves, you know, have been proven to show extraordinary powers in extraordinary circumstances. So we're going to be exploring that today. What does that mean? Is there more to being human? I don't know. Like there's so many stories, and we got some studies. We got a lot of things, interesting things to look at. So yeah, we're going to put on our red cape here and our spandex, and we're going to take a plunge into the superhero world, the superpowers of the average Joe, of the normal person. Right,
of the IRL, which for you boomer types out there, and I mean that in the most lovable way. The youngsters use it as a dig when you say boomer. I don't. I say God bless you. The greatest generation that ever lived. There you go. But if you don't get what we're talking about, and when I say IRL, it means in real life. So we're talking about superheroes that are actually more like superpowers, right? I think you can maybe, well, I guess red spandex and the big S on your chest is a little bit out there. We're not going to go that far, maybe, but kind of when you look into history and even modern history and ancient history, there seem to be tales of individuals that have actual superpowers, right? And so it kind of got us thinking. Ash and I were talking about what kind of show to do, and we really haven't tackled this one too much over the course of the 3-year course of this show. 3-year anniversary, Troubled Minds last week, by the way. So we've been doing our thing for quite some time. No longer rookies. You can remove that tag, the rookie tag. But so we really haven't.
Maybe for you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough, my friend. But okay. So the thing is this. Do you really think that human beings have extraordinary abilities, supernatural, so to speak, things they can do, right? We've all kind of heard stories like this, right? And I'll start it like this. Like, we've heard of the urban legend, and I don't know if this is true. I did a little bit of search and I couldn't find the actual story. So this may be just a straight up urban legend, but we've all heard this one where there was a car accident and a mother was able to get out of the car, but her babies were trapped inside, and she kind of had some sort of adrenaline surge, or maybe powers from God, or whatever you want to call it, and she was able to lift the car up enough by herself to get in and save her babies, because it was a one of those critical moments of need, and it brought out powers in her that she didn't ever have before or after. It was just a in the moment situation where maybe she was able to tap into the power of her mind or our ancient DNA or whatever you want to call it, and she was able to pick up the car and kind of allow her babies to crawl out, or maybe open the door and get them out. Something like this. Have you heard that story before, Ash?
That's exactly the story, that I was thinking of, the exact one where, the mother, she just gets her superhuman strength and does something beyond what she's capable of, right? And then how is that even possible? And science can explain it. And I guess that's kind of like the theme, right? Like these, they're one-offs, but there are things that like are pretty common too that really science kind of quite have an explanation for, right? These are the superpowers. And we can also visit things that like that are just amazing that humans can do. I have one I'm looking for right now. A guy regrew his finger. It's like, what? How did he do that? So there's lots of crazy stories out there, and like always, this show's community thing. I'm looking forward to you guys calling in. If you got a crazy story, please. I'm looking forward to that. So please call in, share your story, and share it with thousands of people. Get it around the campfire.
There you go, the digital campfire, as it were. All right, so we're going to start with, I got some stories here. We'll start looking at some of these things of individuals, human beings that have superpowers, okay? If you want to be part of the show anytime tonight, you have comments on this, you have an idea of maybe one you've heard. Again, we're not going to necessarily spend too much time corroborating these things because, number one, this is the show where we drink a lot of the maybe juice, right? So, and knowing if we have like a source, as always, I'll post my sources. You guys can follow up on me. You know this about me. But if you have one and you're not sure of the source, but you've heard it before, it's okay, because we're kind of actually kind of stepping into the fable version of this as well. So like I said, I'm not positive that the mother, picking up the car to save her babies type of situation was even real. I don't know. But like I said, I tried to look. If you guys have a source on that, I'd love to hear it. But if you've heard of other things similar where people have extraordinary human abilities that most people don't have, that's the type of stuff we're talking tonight. So give us a call. Troubledminds.org is the official website. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can also join the Discord. The Discord link is right there on top of the website. Let's go. Let's start with this. This is from listverse.com, and there's tons of pretty good lists with things like this, and you can check these out. Again, I'm linking it, and you guys can follow along. But let's start with the number 10 here. I'll link this to you as well, Ash, so you can see what we're talking about here. And now this is the thing. The headline here, this is from February 26, 2019. So it's recent enough, right? And they're talking about 10 real life people with real superpowers. So let's start with this. Number 10, the real life Batman. All right. So as a baby, Daniel Kish developed retinoblastoma, a cancer which affects the eyes. He had to have both eyes removed before he reached his first birthday. In order to navigate his environment, Kish developed his own echolocation system, using the same techniques that bats use to fly in the dark. In fact, he has been referred to as the real-life Batman. As he moved around, Kish would make clicking noises with his tongue. He realized that every surface had its own sound. He could recognize a tree, for example, because the trunk produces a different echo than the branches and the leaves. By listening to the echoes from his clicking, Daniel Kish is able to build a 3D image in his mind of the objects around him. It is thought that the clicking noises activate the visual functions of the brain, which enhance spatial and depth perceptions. Kish says that he can often find his way out of a concert hall quicker than a sighted person because he can identify the exit from a long distance away. If he is in a noisy place, he just increases the volume of his clicking sounds. There you go. One Daniel Kish that's blind and is able to actually, like a bat, click, 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 click. And there's a video there of him doing it. It's not really great, so I'm not going to play it. But you can clearly see him doing a...
Hey, it's probably super annoying.
No, it's not
super
that.
annoying noise.
It's actually it's not mic'd up properly, so you kind of can barely tell he's doing it, but he's definitely doing it.
Gotcha.
It's one of those, so just poor quality.
I thought it was like my reptilian scream, just like it's like, wow, this is because we're on the radio now. We used to do exclusively video and audio, right? So we used to show more videos, and this doesn't sound like the good case of that. You just hear,
yeah, exactly.
Just like clicking, weird clicking.
Weird clicking. But yeah, have you heard of that guy?
Yeah. No, I mean, I actually, it's funny. I tried this the other day. I literally closed my eyes and I was just going like making stupid noises and I was like joking around with someone, but I could kind of tell. Like I just spun around like 10 times and was like, all right, can I tell like where the wall is? Right? There's one wall behind me. And I could subtly hear it. And when you close off your other senses, they say this, and this seems to be the case, is when you close off one sense, the other senses become heightened. And so this is kind of like the Daredevil, right? This is that Daredevil. He's blind and he uses echolocation to see. But it's crazy, when people lose their eyesight, what they're capable of hearing and doing. I'd be careful whispering around this guy, And I guess the Daredevil thing was like, can you take it to a level where it's superior to sight? And maybe with like enhancement, right? Maybe with we're coming into an age where genetics and technical enhancement is happening. It's literally happening. People are getting prosthetic limbs 3D printed, and I mingle with some pseudo elites, so I hear some rumors about some other things, and it's crazy, like what's kind of around the horizon, and what's going to be possible. It's funny, you know about that runner who lost their legs, and then they got those like fake legs.
Yeah, the Blade.
And then they were like
Blade Runner.
And then they, like
he's not the only one.
Yeah, but like someone like that. Like won a race, and then like, wait a minute, is this cheating? It's like they run faster, right? They're enhanced humans, so this is kind of right up that same alley. It's like, can this person do things that maybe you wouldn't be able to do with just your limited sight? So pretty cool story, cool one.
Yeah, good stuff. So we'll get to Wim Hof is on this list as well. We'll get to him in the second half because he's kind of a longer story, but he's done some amazing things with just how he's able to kind of limit his own like body chemistry just through breathing techniques. We'll get to that. He's number 9 here, so I'm going to leave that for later, and we'll get to that. Here's another one. This is number 8, the real life flash, and this is again from listverse.com, and we're talking about and James in the chat in Facebook chat says, I think the word preternatural is more applicable. I think I said that right. More applicable. Preternatural instead of supernatural. And I think you're right. So here we go. This is we're talking about basically superpowers, right? Humans that have superpowers in real life, and that's what we're doing tonight. So as always, we'd love to hear from you. Phone numbers at troubledminds.org and the Discord link. Let's do this one. So Dean Karnazes can run forever. He's one of the most remarkable endurance athletes on the planet. He once ran nonstop for 563 kilometers. That's 350 miles for you non-metric types. Over 3 days. He ran nonstop across Death Valley and even ran to the South Pole. Even among ultra-endurance athletes, Dean Karnazes is a superhuman. I probably said his name twice differently, but that's okay. You get what I'm saying here. Most runners are limited by their body's lactate threshold. The body breaks down glucose for energy, producing lactate as a byproduct. When you reach your lactate threshold, the body is no longer able to convert the lactate quickly enough, leading to an acid buildup to the muscles and a burning pain runners call hitting the wall. Running beyond your lactate threshold will lead to muscle fatigue, breathlessness, and a racing heart until eventually you collapse in a sweating, gasping heap. Dean Karnazes does not have a lactate threshold, which means that theoretically he can run forever. So he's never experienced any form of cramp or muscle ache, even during runs that last more than 160 kilometers, or that's 100 miles. The only thing that stops him is his need for sleep, and he has even sometimes experienced bouts of sleep running, where he was able to keep on moving while nodding off. Holy smokes, that's incredible. And I think a lot of these things we're talking about tonight is maybe kind of aiming us in the direction of possible CRISPR enhancements, with things like this, when we figure out how the body manages itself we become more familiar with these things. There's a lot of great stuff with technology these days, but there's also a ton of stuff we do not know yet, even about the human body. And so as we learn more of this, maybe we're going to be able to, CRISPR everybody up so they can, click, click, click like a bat and then super run like this guy. And then we'll all be superheroes, right? I've never heard of this guy. This is actually a pretty good list because it's got some guys I've never heard of on here, which, when you do some of this stuff, you end up hearing about the same batch of dudes, people. But it's this one is new to me. Have you heard of this guy, Ash?
No, that's pretty interesting. So he has a mutation that, or something's kind of like broken in him that removes his limiter, I guess, where he can kind of run. I mean, I was tracking this guy. I watched this documentary about a guy who was just trying to go pretty far, but like from Mexico all the way up to Canada, I believe, or something like that. I forget what the distance. And he struggled. He couldn't make it. It was really tough. So for this guy, he blows that guy out of the water. That's really insane. That is some superhero stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Now imagine if he had the pole legs,
Yeah, exactly. So and I guess that's part of the problem too, right? So he can theoretically run forever, but then he's also limited by his ankles and his knees and, things like that. After so much abuse, you would expect that he's probably got some knee issues, right? Things like this. So, I mean, that's exactly what we're talking about here, is if at some point, we're able to determine why he's able to be the way he is, we can basically remove that human limiter for endurance or other things, right? There's super strength. There's the guy clicking like a bat. There's tons of these things, but that's what we're talking about tonight, guys. We're doing superhuman powers, right? Basically, preternatural powers, people that can do things that normal humans cannot. And the question tonight is this: do you think that at some point, we have these abilities kind of locked into everybody. And since we use such a small portion of our brain in many capacities, that we're able to unlock some of these things, to maybe go back inside ourselves, into our ancient DNA, and maybe unlock these things. Do you think this stuff is possible? I think that's really the question here tonight, and wondering what you guys think. So far, so good. We got a couple that we've read, and again, we started tonight with the fable, right? Again, I couldn't find anything to corroborate it, but the story, the what would you call it? The uncorroborated story. What's it called? It's on the tip of my tongue. But anyway, of the woman who had a car crash, had her babies in the car, and was able to lift the car up enough to save her babies. Right? We started with that. I could not find a corroboration, but we're looking to hear stories from you guys. Have you heard of people that have actual superpowers in some capacity? And we'll get to some really mind-bending stuff in the second half as we go. But we're going to kind of start with this and read a few of these stories and ask if you've heard of these guys. And then also, do you think that it's possible that maybe without CRISPR or without the Blade Runner type legs or actual physical enhancements, what do you think, Ash? Do you think that it's possible that we're able to somehow kind of delve into the depths, the recesses of our mind, and be able to unlock things in our DNA that allows this stuff to happen? You think that's a possibility?
So the question of a superpower, right? Like extraordinary power, it has so many different variables of what it could be. It could be just, walking into a room and sensing something's wrong. Danger, spider sense. That I've done that. I've personally done stuff like that before. But I think the commonality that we're kind of talking about is it's kind of like weird. It's like almost a little bit unexplainable, right? And who knows where this stuff comes from? You talked about CRISPR and genetic enhancements. If you look back through ancient civilizations and through the different religions and a catalog of human history, they talk about the gods, right? And the gods used to experiment with humans and make centaurs and make mermaids and all kinds of stuff, right? The giants, these are the kind of stories of old. And so we're coming up to a point where we're kind of becoming gods ourselves to some degree, where we can kind of like edit ourselves. And who's to say that whether it's some extraterrestrial force, meaning external, or maybe it was us, maybe we're an ancient civilization, maybe we are, maybe we're enhanced by a third party, maybe the government's like chemical spraying us. I mean, it could be a lot of different things could be the kind of the catalyst. Maybe these are powers that we kind of gave ourselves when we were an ancient civilization on another planet, and we're just kind of remnants of that civilization. Who's to say? You can't really know, but we get these hints and these gleams of these mutations, these changes, these senses, these powers that kind of go beyond what they should, right? So, I mean, I have a few stories here. There's like a kid with cat eyes. There's Sumerian Kings who lived thousands of years. There's all these like weird, these weird things that are sort of unexplainable. And when science is exhausted, you kind of have to like step out of the box a little bit and kind of like look at this stuff, with an open mind.
Perfect teaser for the second half. So tonight we're talking about superpowers, but not the ones from comic books or television. We're talking about real people with real abilities that defy explanation. And the question tonight for you is, do you think that everybody is capable of things like this if we can just unlock the power of our minds? That's the question tonight. And if you have heard of any of this stuff, if you have a good story to tell us regarding superpowers and people, real people, IRL people, as it were, give us a call, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Mike. This is Ash. Don't go anywhere. More superpowered people right after the break. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. I'm here with your co-host, Ash, the reptilian from Mars. We are streaming on Facebook, streaming on YouTube, streaming on DLive. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. And we're looking to hear from you tonight. We're talking about superhuman powers. Do you think this stuff is a bunch of hogwash? Or do you think it's actually possible? And if this is possible, do you think it's built into our DNA from ancient times? And all it takes from us is to unlock the power of our mind. That's the question tonight. And we'd love to hear from you. One more time, the number to call, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Go to troubledminds.org, the official website. Click the Discord link, and the phone number is right on top of the website. Welcome back, Ash. Are you there, buddy? Testing 1, 2. Testing 3, 4. Okay, maybe not. All right, so we're going to keep on trekking here. Sometimes you have technical issues when you're beaming all the way out to Mars. But okay, here we go. We are discussing superpowers, and we left off with an individual named Dean Karnazes that can run forever. He kind of has this limiter, right? Well, humans have this limiter, but he's found a way to have this the body's lactate threshold. He's been able to remove that and have no threshold, and so he's been able to run over 350 miles over 3 days, which seems absurd, right? That seems absolutely ridiculous, and so it makes us wonder, right? There was a great comment in the chat that I mentioned. We're streaming on Facebook, DLive, and YouTube, and reading the chat as we go here. But we had a great comment by Sean from Canada. Let me see. What did he say? He said, what about, no, not that one. Okay. He said this. I'm going to, if you remove the limiter, are you still human? I guess that's the question, right? That's one of the questions tonight. If we're able to tap into whatever it is in our DNA or in our brains and unlock some of these abilities that people have supposedly had over the years, is this a thing? Do you think this is a real thing? And if it is, do these people still qualify as human, or do you think there's something else entirely? I guess that's the question. Ash check. 1, 2. 1, 2.
Ash Mike check. 1, 2.
What's up, buddy? What's up? Welcome back. All right. So
what's up?
We got another one here. So I'm going down this list again. This is from listverse.com. Just going to read a few of these, not the entire list because there's a ton of stuff here, but I'm going to read some of the more interesting ones to me that are actual. It seemed to be superpowers, right? There was a guy up there on the list that's like they call him the real life Spider-Man, and he's just got this insane ability to climb buildings and things like this. We're going to skip that one because, well, that's impressive, but it's probably less impressive than the guy that can run 350 miles in 3 days, right? So anyway, here we go. This is number 6 on this list. I linked it back in the chat if you guys want to follow along. The real life Professor X, they're calling her, and the Mary Lou Henner is the actress, and she has what they call superhuman mental powers. She has this condition, an extremely rare condition called highly superior autobiographical memory. That would be HSAM, which allows her total recall of basically every single moment of her life. Fewer than 100 people with the condition have been documented worldwide. Though this condition, HSAM, would make life easier in many ways. It says, imagine never having to wonder where your car keys are, for us mere mortals. There are some disadvantages. People with this condition, HSAM, are more likely to have anxiety disorders and suffer from depression or OCD. And that seems completely legit to me. Can you imagine if you remembered in crystal clear detail every failure of your life? I mean,
maybe I have a superpower then, because I can. No, it's funny. It's like I see these memes where you're like in the shower, or it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, you're going to bed, and you just remember this thing you said like 5 years ago at a wedding, and you're like, God, I wish I'd never said that.
I'm so dumb.
I'm such an idiot. And I'm like, thanks, brain. I'm trying to sleep, and have a good day tomorrow. That's what you hit me with. But so you can imagine this is that on crack, right? It's where she can relive any memory, any moment in her life. It's pretty insane because I don't know, as I get older, people say, oh, remember when you did this thing? And I'm like, no. No, I do not.
Probably for the best, right?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't think that happened. And they're like, yeah. And then the other guy's like, yeah, dude, you were like doing this. And I'm like, really? I'm like, it sounds like you're talking about someone else entirely. So it's kind of it is kind of a curse because I'm glad I don't remember some of those moments. That's pretty insane. That's a superpower. You know, they say that when aliens take you and they kind of like they can scan your brain, and when they're scanning your brain, you'll literally start memories and things will pop up like a banana or whatever because they're moving through your brain, like scanning it. And I wonder how much of it we actually record and how much we can actually pull up, right? What's the ratio? Like, do we record every single thing? Is there like an Akashic record for your existence, your experiences? And maybe when you pass on, when you die, you like go through that, and that's kind of like that life flashing before your eyes. I don't know, but this would hint that it's possible, right? That's pretty insane.
Yeah, definitely. And so, I could see how this would be incredibly valuable to be able to remember every single aspect of your entire life. But again, like Ash mentioned there's some things we don't want to remember. Like for instance, did everybody out there pass your first driver's test? You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe you forgot it's been so long, but maybe you didn't, and you don't want to remember. You know what I'm saying? Like those types of things are okay. It's okay to remember the minor failures as long as we overcome them, right? But then of course, then there's the major failures. Well, oh boy.
Yeah, and you got her kids can't get away with anything. They can't get away with nothing, dude. Yeah. Or imagine being married to her and it's like, well,
you do this every time. You're like,
because if you can recall things so vividly, it's almost as if it's happening. She could get mad at you again for something you said like 3 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like you. Like, oh, I'm sorry. Well, you didn't say it with the right tone. It's like, oh, no, I did. No, you didn't. I remember. It's like, oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
Right. So we're
just lose every argument.
Exactly. Yeah, you lost. Don't even start. So we're talking about Mary Lou Henner, right? She's an actress. Somebody says that's the lady from Taxi, the TV show. I knew I recognized her. I didn't know from where, but that's it, from the Taxi TV show. So anyway, she can recall every moment of her life, basically, right? She has that superpower of this condition called HSAM, which is highly superior autobiographical memory. All right. And this is how crazy it gets. She can recall the month, day, and time of every event that has happened in her life. And she can also recall things that were on the news or happened to other people. She first became aware of her ability at the age of 6. Now imagine that. You can remember exactly what was happening at a particular time on the news. So this is the perfect fact checker.
That's crazy.
This is the perfect fact checker. Why doesn't she have her own fact checking website? She could be like, oh, no, Anderson Cooper. Just 6 months ago on Tuesday at 7:33 p.m., you said, you know what I mean?
Oh, man.
She should be doing stuff like that.
Yeah, she could be like a lawyer, stocks. I know in the stock market, it used to be that since people didn't have computers and algorithms and stuff like that, it was kind of like who had the best memory and who was the smartest person. And Warren Buffett, he has a, what do you call that? Image memory, where you, photographic memory. So he had this edge on everyone, and he used that edge to eke out over the years. So you can imagine her, like, put someone like that back then. She can like literally think back at any point what the stock was in her own mind and be like, okay, it was down like 20%, 20%, 20%. Oh, it's down 30. Okay, I'm buying. That's crazy. That's like computer stuff. And I wonder how she is. Does that affect her personality? Like, is she kind of weird? You know what I mean? Like, is she just she seem perfectly normal? I would think that she would operate differently,
Yeah, so it said there that there's only 100 people that have ever been identified with this particular condition, and it did say they're prone to depression and OCD and personality disorders, as you would expect. I mean, I think it's a little bit weird that you could literally recall every single minute of your life, including what was happening on the news during a particular time and stuff. I mean, that's just nuts. I think back to my 20s and I'm like, man, number one, I was such a moron, right? The moron that thought he knew everything. Yeah, guess what? That's probably everybody in their 20s, right? But I mean, then there was all that. Then all the stuff that went on that I wished I was paying attention to, that she kind of caught in the periphery that she could have perfect recall of. I mean, that's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing stuff. But anyway, what do you guys think? We're talking about superpowers tonight. IRL superpowers, which would be in real life, and these are people that actually have extraordinary abilities. And do you think that it's possible that we all have some version of these locked into our DNA, and we can unlock it by accessing the power of our mind? I think that's really the question tonight. Do you think that stuff's possible? That's what's on deck tonight. We're going to get into some more of these stories. You got some you're gonna talk about in a sec, right, Ash?
Yeah, I got some stuff.
Okay, cool. We'll get to that just a sec here. So if you want to be part of the show tonight, we're looking to hear from you. If you can hear me right now, I'm speaking to you. Pick up the phone and dial this phone number, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. That phone number is persistent, by the way. So if you're listening to this on an archive on a YouTube or on the podcast or something, and you have a thought about this, go ahead and call and leave a message, and we'll play it on a future show. We can time travel like that, right? We've got the time travel ability to recall when you called in the past and apply it to the future, right? So we do have a phone call coming in. We need more, though. We want to hear from you guys. Do you think this stuff is possible? And do you think that humans are kind of maybe limiting ourselves in some capacity? That the status quo is, this is what we are. We're these bags of meat that are susceptible to all these terrible things. But are we able to, through the power of our mind, maybe overcome these things? I think that's really part of the thing tonight. We were Ash and I were talking about this last night. We're like, let's do something reasonably positive. So here we go. Here we go. Welcome to Positive Troubled Minds. So that's the question tonight. 702-957-1037, and let's go to this is Rohan in the United Kingdom. Welcome to the show, my friend. You're on with Mike and Ash. How are you doing tonight?
Hey, buddy, I'm doing fine. How are you guys? You okay?
Doing good. Go right ahead. What do you think about all this superpower stuff?
Yeah, man, I'm down with all this stuff. I've kind of in a way, I've studied it by stumbling into it, all of this kind of thing. And I've come across a whole bunch of stuff that kind of ties it all in together. And basically, I've concluded it's all about learning. We've got an operating system. And this new techniques that's been honed for thousands of years in various ways. People have just tried it. You know what I mean? We've been around for a long time, and people have just wrote down the stuff that's worked. And I've noticed that there's a Hindu Vedic, who is the youngest ever Hindu Vedic, called Paramahamsa Nithyananda. He's also known as Nithyananda Sangha. And he's talked about some of these yoga techniques, some incredible stuff that you're supposed to be able to do with them, but there's techniques for slapping yourself. And I thought that was interesting because, again, you've got the Chinese medicine in meridian lines. You when you do martial arts, you go for gallbladder 16, then under the armpit, and you can paralyze one side of a person's body. You've got Dimak strikes. You know what I'm saying? You've got Falun Dafa and Tai Chi, which is learning to manipulate your magnetism. You know what I'm saying? All this stuff stacks up, And then, of course, you've got sacred geometries. And in martial arts, you do sacred geometry shapes on people to create sigils on it, which is then bringing in the magic. You know what I'm saying? It all ties in together. I think these are operating systems, and I think they're absolutely real. Breathing techniques is one of the main things, I think. And breath is life. Right?
Yeah, so we're going to get to Wim Hof in a little bit here in the second half of the show, but he's incredible. You actually brought him up last time you called, I believe. And, are we able to maybe regulate our immune systems or our body or our memories or, with these ancient techniques? Maybe they're ancient, maybe they're not. But I think you bring up a good point that there's a lot of old texts that have been out there that describe these things in detail, like different religious principles and living your life particular ways, like the Buddhist way and some other things. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on. And it seems like they say a life hack is, how to iron your clothes super fast or something. But what about a life hack where you can actually hack your biological self into doing extraordinary things? Pretty crazy stuff. Go ahead.
So precisely. I mean, we look at mindfulness meditation. If you've got mindfulness, if you've got control of your mind, look how many people have pushed it through the years. You're responsible for your thoughts, man, for your whole. How many people have said it? Now think about it. If you get control of your mind, You get control of your emotions because you've got control of your body chemistry. And if you've got control of your body chemistry, you can go as deep as you like down to your genes, you know. And there's even an ancient language. It's known as the Bok Saga, where there was 23 frequency-tuned words that they used to teach the children in this rich family. Up until the age of 7, they teach all 23 words, and they have an initiation at the age of 7, and they get one word that they've got to repeat like a mantra all the time. And these 23 words are supposed to create superconductivity in the neural pathways for different aspects of the mind. So you've got these kids that are learning these 23, they're doing it with the brain directly, the stuff we're talking about with the body, using frequency. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, it makes us look like Neo in the Matrix, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so maybe it is hacking, not just our biological cells, but the system itself. Maybe we're able to kind of hack into like you said, the electromagnetics. That is good stuff there, man. Definitely good stuff. Do you have any particular stories of individuals that can do amazing things you want to share real quick while we got you on the phone?
I can, but I don't tell people this. Yeah, I've done stuff. We can all do it. So I've tried it. I've learned stuff by chance, like I say. So I'll tell a story. I don't tell people this, because it sounds like showing off. But I've done it. I've done it with martial arts. I've done it with like getting in tune with things. So I did it by learning animism, learning tiger style, like a Sumerian tiger style. You get on the ground like a tiger. You study tigers. You watch how they move. You pretend to be one. And if you do it, if you pretend to be an animal, and you're interested in it, and do it long enough, it's like it prepares the vessel. And so you can practice, and in sportsmen they get in the zone. You can get in the zone with it, and you get extra. You can jump further. Literally, you can jump further. You can do. So this crouching tiger stuff. You start to get a hint that it might be kind of real, and then you see placebo effects happening with pharmacology, and you think it gives you a glimpse. You know what I'm saying? It's like you see a glimpse of the code in the Matrix. And one time I went out, I felt the urge to go outside and train, and it was nighttime. It's not unusual for me to train in the dark, so people don't see. You know. And one time I decided to go out with all my training weapons. I told myself up, went out there, I thought I'm just going to do it. I'm going to get in there. I told myself up with every training weapon I had about 12 weapons on me. And I just went out as normal. Imagine getting disarmed and then, carrying on. And I did this fight scene with myself for a bit, did a bit of training. And when I finished, my last one was to flip this dagger over my wrist. And it hit the ground. And it did like the movie, like doing in the frozen ground. And I looked around and I had a perfect circle of weapons all the way around me. Do you know what I mean? Like a clock. Do you know what I'm saying?
Wow. So
I thought, well,
holy smokes.
That means you've done it right. Do you know what I mean? I thought, wow, that's crazy. I've tried remote viewing as well when it works. Do you know what I mean? It's scary. It's scary. If you're a responsible, intelligent person and you're doing this for real, it's kind of scary. But I know, at least for me, I know it works. So that's why I'm passionate about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. And you're not the only one. There's a lot of people that talk about actual remote viewing. We may even get into that in the second half of this show. So hey, we got a call behind you, so we're going to go. I appreciate the call. This is Rohan from the UK. Right. You can find him on the Fringe FM chat. Thanks for listening, man. Thanks for the call. Talk to you soon.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thanks for calling. Thanks for being on the show. Any take on that, Ash? Before we take Beechwood next.
Yeah, it's crazy. What resonated with me is, if you're a smart person and you play with the stuff and you get some results, you're like, huh? Because it's almost disturbing because the ramifications of that, right? If I tried remote viewing, and the first time I did it, I nailed it. I mean, absolutely nailed it. I smelt it. I felt it. I literally got that there was people there, a dog, it was a house. I got everything, and it actually freaked me out because even if like remote viewing's real, I never thought I could do it, let alone on my first try. And I actually did real quick try to make an attempt. I'd like to do one every week if possible, where Mike picks a target and I give it a shot, and just take it, we together we see, if we can get some real results. I don't know, but anyway, it's kind of freaky because there's ramifications to that. There's like, what is reality? Like, what does that mean? It means there's more. Science tells you there's just matter and particles and whatever. But if these things are true, if your consciousness can affect reality, then there's more to reality, and it has ramifications. And some of those are kind of disturbing. It's like, well, is this even real? You know, like what is even going on, right? And so you can go down a crazy path, and you know, you don't really. I don't think any human really understands it, but I think if you go down that spiritual journey, you kind of play with this kind of stuff. You know it's true. You know, you feel something's there, but you don't quite understand it, right? So yeah, great story. I love it. I love the stories. Keep calm. I got all this stuff here we can talk about. Each thing is a show, and it's like I'm trying to like, all of these things are exciting. Like these are really exciting, interesting things. You know, these the power of humans and what we're capable of, and I think that we're coming into an era where, like, you know, whether it's through technology or you know, studying ourselves, genetics, or exploring ancient knowledge, or whatever it is, we're coming into an era where humans are our capabilities, our powers are going to just grow. It's going to be insane. I mean, I think it's just over the next 10 years, you're going to start seeing. 5 years from now, you'll start seeing stuff. 10 years from now, it'll be normal. Isn't that? That's my guess.
Hopefully, I'm with you. I hope that
the monkey's playing Pong, Mike. The monkey's good at it. He was good at it.
Did you?
He wasn't just playing, bro. He was good at it. He would beat me. Okay.
He was good at it.
He was awesome. He didn't miss. I was watching him for like 2 minutes.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, we're good. All right, so we got Beechwood on the line, but I'm gonna hold you over after the break, Beechwood. I don't want to cheat you and start the call and have to go to a break. So hang tight. We'll get to you as soon as we come back after the top of the hour here. But if you guys want to be on the show, we're talking about superhuman powers, right? And have you heard of any of these things? Do you believe this stuff is true? Do you think it's media hype? Do you think it's any of that stuff? This is all within the purview of our show. This is why we talk about these things. If you believe it or you don't believe it, that's all good. That's fine and well. And that's why we look at these things, because some of this may be real, some of it may not be. And here we are, just mere mortals trying to figure these things out by having a good conversation. So as a part of that, we have an open line for you. And if you want to be part of the show, just like Rohan, thank you for the call, Rohan, kicking us off tonight. You can queue up after Beechwood, who's going to be next when we come back. But just give us a call at 702-957-1037, talking about superpowers tonight. Humans and their ability to do extraordinary things. Do you think this is something that's built into our DNA from the days of old, or do you think that this is something that's fake, something that's media hype and all the rest of the things we always talk about, fables, as they were? I don't know. If I knew the answer, it'd be a quick show. We'd just read the answers and we'd end. But, well, we don't do that. We ask the questions. We're in the question business. So if you want to be part of it, 702-957-1037. Do you think human superpowers are real? And do you think it's possible to unlock them for regular people like us? You're listening to Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. I'm here with Ash. And we're looking to hear from you tonight. Is all this stuff possible? Or is it all just a bunch of BS from a hyper-reality BS media? That's the question. Don't go anywhere. This is Troubled Mind, 702-957-1037. More superhuman powers after the break. Be right back. This is Michael Strange from Troubled Minds. Did you hear that scientists recently discovered radio waves coming from Proxima Centauri? Well, I cannot confirm nor deny. We are broadcasting from that neck of the woods. You are listening to KTLK, The Fringe FM.
I wish none of this had happened.
So do all who live to see such times, but that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us. There are other forces at work in this world, Frodo, besides the will of evil. Bilbo was meant to find the ring, in which case you also were meant to have it. And that is an encouraging thought.
Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness. Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. I'm here with your co-host, Ash, the reptilian from Mars, and we'd like to say hello to all of you who might also have troubled minds. What's up, guys? It's Wednesday night, and this show is live. If you want to be part of the show tonight, the number to call is 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. This is the show where we talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. We do that on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific. And you know what those things we talk about are. They're, of course, aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the weird feeling that we live in a state of the upside down. Like I said, streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and DLive, broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. Phone number 702-957-1037. And we're talking about superhuman powers tonight. Are these old wives' tales? Are these urban legends? Are these fables from the past? Or is there really some sort of scientific basis behind this? And if there is, do you think that we still have the ability to unlock them with our brain that we don't really use? Or is it built into our DNA? Or who knows, all kinds of things. That's the conversation tonight. But let's welcome Ash to the show. Earth to Mars. 1, 2, Ash, do you copy? Testing. Live shows, broadcasts to Mars. It's really difficult sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
I am here. Hello, viewership and humans. Thank you for joining us today on our broadcast.
Yes.
Today we're talking about extraordinary humans and different abilities, and I'm here with Michael Strange. Oh wait, you did all that. Sorry.
I did all that. I did all that.
Yeah. We're good.
All right, we're good. So let's.
No.
Go ahead.
Oh no, it's great to be here, and looking forward to more calls. Guys, call in. Let's talk about this stuff. And it's kind of weird, right? This is a weird topic. It's pretty open ended. We could go down any pit and stay there forever, you know. So, but in general, what do you guys think? Do you think there's more to it? Do you think there's more to kind of the human frame, the human thing? There's a couple theories I have here too about possible explanations we could gloss over. I've got some examples, some stories, some
let's do that right after the phone call. We got a phone call waiting here. We'll do that right after.
Sure.
So again, you teased that and we never got to it, so we're going to get to it, I promise. After this phone call, awesome. We're getting into that. Let's go. This is Beechwood in Massachusetts. Welcome to the show. You're on with Mike and Ash. What's on your mind tonight?
Hello. Nothing much. It's a great topic. It's a well-rounded topic, but it's like one of those Venn diagrams. But initially, I was going to call in and use my superpower and implant a false memory in your mind about robo-dogs.
Don't do that. Please don't do that.
I changed my mind. But, I've witnessed some incredible things with, human beings and what it's capable of. I've heard everybody on the list so far. The guy Wim, he's amazing. I kind of know a lot about him. And he's like the real deal. Science can't prove why he's capable of what he's capable of. And then there's some other people that are probably going to be on the list that I'm not going to bring up, but I'll let you bring them up later. But I know them all. But I was going to talk about, what I've experienced and what I've witnessed. And, what you brought up about the mother lifting up the car in the beginning, that's true. The human body it's a balance between mental and physical. And, with the physical biological body, I myself have experienced, the conditioning of it. Because I was into the martial arts, and you learn to take pain and condition your body, but part of it is also your physical body, and you see that how it processes the stuff you eat, when you're in shape and out of shape, when you're in real good shape, when you drink the protein shake, you actually feel it rather than just run it through your body. But I've seen, what the mind is capable of in relation with the body is there is a part that you can unlock. And, part of it is through, meditation and conditioning, and then part of it is not explained. And one of the things I witnessed that, I'm sure you could get a lot of stories about. I've been in a mental health facility, and I was 25 at the time when I went in. And prior to that, when I was 19, I had a job doing electrical work and door work, keyless card readers and actual doors. And we went to a hospital that was a psych ward, and there was a kid there, and he had to be maybe 5'9", 5'10", 150 pounds, and this kid busted through a door that was, they're like these solid, like 2-inch laminated wooden doors. It's like a 2-inch piece of plywood. They weigh like 180 pounds. They're like 4 feet wide, 6 feet high, and they're easily. You can't break them. This kid busted right through it. And it was because he was at an elevated state of mind. He did have mental illness, but when you looked at his physical body and what he did, it's amazing. And then you talk to people that work in that, field, and they see that stuff all the time. Like someone that weighs 150 pounds just throwing people around because they're at such an elevated state of consciousness. They have the adrenaline flowing. So the human body is capable of that. Whether you control it is a different story or not. And then, with Wim, I remember when I was a kid, there's these monks. I saw a show on it, and they kind of do what he does. And they can sit out. They showed the demonstration. They take these cold sheets, and they wrap them around their body, and it's all ice around, and they start meditating, and they start like rocking and breathing, and then the sheets start steaming, and they dry them, and they say it's meditation that you can, through the mind, like actually access the hypothalamus and control, your body functions, those automatic body functions that you don't have control over. But they also said it's very dangerous too, because they said you can make yourself sick if you don't know what you're doing and you were to try it. So I don't know if that's to scare you or to deter you from what your body's capable of. And I just think it's such a weird coincidence is that these kind of are like comic book powers. I know we're not talking about comic books, but comic book stories are old. Like they've actually been around for a while, and they talk about everything from the multiverse, parallel dimensions, time travel, and some of the stuff that like these fiction writers wrote is coming true. And then we see small examples of superhuman capabilities in the real world. We see super intelligence too. You can point it out. We see super manipulation. A lot of people are capable at very specific things very well. But yeah, that's my little piece of the pie.
I appreciate it, my man. Good stuff as always. This is Beechwood from Massachusetts, guys. We're going to keep on rolling because we got to get into Wim Hof, which I'm sure you know a lot about. If you want to call back in the third hour, you're definitely welcome. Thanks, Beechwood. We'll talk to you soon, okay? Have a great night.
All right. Thanks, my friend.
Thanks, man. There you go. If you guys want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. Good stuff there. And that's exactly what we're talking about tonight. Are these things possible? And go ahead and respond to that, Ash, and then take us into your stuff you got prepared for tonight.
Sure. Yeah, that was a fantastic call. He touched on a lot of things, and he kind of like glossed over quickly and kind of just like brought them up. It was a great call. And he made a great point. There's a movie called Unbreakable. And in that movie, there's humans start suddenly gaining superpowers and across the world, and that's kind of like a wave of this happening. And the antagonist in that movie believes that comic books are an ancient form, a story form of keeping tabs on these things that have happened throughout history. These, the stories of Hercules and different things like that, and that it's a manifestation. And that's a fun idea, right? But are we remembering something? It's a lot of times these inspirations, they don't come from the person. And a lot of people who have ideas for movies, for inventions, they say it came from something else. It just came through them. What is that? Is that some sort of presence? Is that some sort of akastic record that we kind of all have in our genetic memory? Is it? And so I have some of these, just real quick, some of these ideas. It's like, are there like gods? Are there like aliens, gods, or whatever? And they kind of like play through men, and they bestow upon us powers and at different points in histories, and whether that's aliens doing CRISPR stuff or that's like some bearded men, Greek gods. There's all these stories. Are we in a matrix where we kind of can affect our reality? Or there's one theory that I actually have never heard of before until recently, where it's called an ISBE, which means BE means biological entity, and if that sounds familiar, that's kind of like what aliens are, the new term for them, which isn't exactly relevant to this. This is biological entities, just the term for something alive. And then IS is your soul, and that if you're a soul inside of your body, your soul has somewhat limitations and powers, and your body has limitations and powers, and you're kind of like in your own mech suit per se. And so the combination of those things can give you supernatural abilities, basically. So with that said, there's a few things here, and we can gloss through a few of these. But have you heard about the Sumerian Kings, Michael? The Sumerian Kings, and how back in the Sumerian texts, which Sumerians are, I don't know if this is 100% true now. I heard something different, but it's supposedly the oldest written text and catalog of their civilization. And the Sumerian kings supposedly lived for hundreds and hundreds of years, sometimes thousands of years. Is this a typo, or is this remnants of was this a type? Was this like you'll see people don't. Zacharias Stitching is controversial, supposedly, and all this kind of stuff. But maybe this is something. Maybe this is remnants of what we used to be, or whatever. My friend said the other day, like, there's this theory that we used to live longer at some point in our history, because of all the natural stuff. And I don't know, but the Sumerian Kings, that's one like example of potential superpower. And I know a few of you guys out there who are listening now or love that stuff and are into that, and you could probably school us on that.
Here's real quick. Let me shoehorn this in there. So as an interesting note to that, so the ancient the kings of old, let's call them, were able to live a very, very long time. And there's one that people are very familiar with. It was said that Noah of the Bible actually lived for 950 years. So interesting, right, that even going back to like the kings of old and Sumerian, the first written language, and all the rest of this stuff, is that there's some corroborating things that happen in the rest with some of these other texts as history kind of unfolds as well. So definitely good stuff. But go right ahead. Don't want to jam that in there.
No,
super relevant.
and that's a good point. But what those kind of what those stories kind of have in common is some sort of godlike presence, right? Like it's some sort of superior godlike thing, like whether it's external god or they themselves are somewhat gods or something. Maybe humans have an artificial age limit that's put on us. So, our DNA basically breaks off over time. You can kind of change that. So anyway, interesting stuff. And kind of on that point of somewhat immortality, another superpower, which is, we get these rumors, these wisps of this mystical martial arts kind of stuff that people have mentioned before. Monks floating, monks putting their hands in stone and leaving handprints. And supposedly during a monk's journey of kind of achieving this spiritual enlightenment, these kind of like demonstrations are actually hurt them in their ego. They're trying to shed their ego, but then they're like showing off their powers. So it's kind of like this it's this counterintuitive thing where, if you saw a guy floating legitimately in front of you, that would change your life, right? So there's people who say they see these things, but they're not supposed to do them because it hurts themselves. So it's like, at this point, it's kind of just rumors, but you get these glimpses. And there's this ultimate achievement for some of these Tibetan Buddhism is achieving the rainbow body. And so supposedly monks in the past have basically been like, all right, peace out, I won, GG, good game. That means for gaming people out there. And they just bounce. Their soul just leaves their body, and their physical, their biological entity, their body kind of shrivels up, and then you see this somewhat rainbow, and they leave. And there's been stories of Tibetan gods who come down and taught humans how to do that. Another that little god aspect, right? A little kind of the god story kind of thrown in there. And there's been kind of more modern things like within people's lifetimes today of these stories of these things. I know you've heard about this, Mike, right? The Tibetan body, rainbow body.
Actually, I haven't heard of it in terms of the rainbow body, that quote, but I do know that they have they basically the entire practice of the religion, even going back thousands of years, as far as I'm aware, is that it was to achieve enlightenment of some sort. And this is, I guess it's physical as well. I didn't realize, but yeah, I didn't realize it was called Rainbow Body. Good stuff though. So I linked this if you guys want to check it out, what he's talking about. It says, what is Rainbow Body? And it's fairly recent from January 2019. And great stuff here. Great stuff. But go ahead. I have heard of it, but not in that exact term.
Yeah, and it's really interesting where they kind of would glow, and they'll. I think the caller just mentioned this, where they kind of like throw rags over them, and they kind of like steam off, and they shrivel up, kind of like a shrunken head, and then that's it. They gone. They like leave, and that kind of plays into like, what is this reality? Like, is this like just a test? Is this a prison planet? And once you kind of achieve certain points, or maybe you're an active participant. And in between lives, you realize it. And then he was like, if you do this and you do that, you're done. You just quit. You quit the game. Pretty crazy stuff to hear. That's some pretty supernatural abilities. So let's go with one a little bit more practical. This is a super common one. I bet a lot of you guys have heard this one. Let's go with the boy with cat eyes. You've heard about this. I know, Mike.
Definitely. He's Chinese, right?
Yes, he is.
Yes.
Which makes it look more unusual per se. You usually Chinese people have very dominant genes, right? So through their gene pool, they have a lot of dominant genes, and so to see variance is kind of weird, And so to see this sort of variance is a very special. This little boy, this is real too. This is not like. They sent investigators there. He's this little boy in China that can. He has these strange eyes. They're like bright blue. And if you actually show a light at him, it reflects back just like a cat. And so I was reading this article, and they're saying that this mutation shouldn't exist. Mutations like this basically come over like generations of time. It's like. use selective breeding by nature, right? But that takes generations. So this shouldn't be the case. And so they were testing this kid's eyesight. And so even if it's cosmetic, it shouldn't be practical. It doesn't make any sense that it would actually work like a cat's eyes. So they had this kid fill out a form while he was in the darkness, and he was able to do it. He was able to fill out the whole form. And they're like, what the heck? And I think that they weren't really able to really study him like completely, but there's enough there that's like, what the heck? And you can see it for yourselves. And this isn't like, you know, like some YouTube, TikTok channel. This is like in a village somewhere randomly in China. So pretty amazing story, pretty interesting. If you guys haven't seen it, check it out. Look up the video. Yeah, it's China's cat-eyed boy. And he has night vision.
He has night vision, exactly. So we actually did this, I think, a year ago. We kind of talked about this when the article hit. But this is actually an old one. So just like Ash said, this is not TikTok, right? This is not somebody faking some things. This was published on Live Science. So there it is, like actual science. Wink, wink. You know what I'm saying? Follow the science, as they say. But this is an old one, January 31st, 2012. But I wonder what happened to this guy. I think I wonder if we should be able to look up and find out, so you figure he's a grown man now at some point, and if this is something he grew out of or whatever else. But yeah, so you can see the article is up. I've linked it, and you guys can check out what the color of this young man's eyes. And they say that he has sky blue eyes, but when you shine the light in them, they flash that neon green like a cat would. It reflects the light back, like Ash was saying there. And then also he has the ability to see in the dark, which is crazy stuff. But anyway, that's what we're talking about tonight, guys. We're talking about humans with extraordinary abilities. And the question I have about this is, we always talk about CRISPR and transhumanism and Neuralinks and, electrodes in your brain and all the rest of this stuff. But do you think these extraordinary abilities, do you think we're able to unlock them through meditation, let's say, or through these ancient texts that say that kind of maybe paint the way? Is this something that we've completely forgotten and maybe has been washed out in a world of mass media where they don't want us to believe these things anymore? Maybe this is possible. And in the old days, they figured out how to hack the system, right? Maybe the physical system, maybe the system we live in. But now, for some reason, right, you notice how you talk about holistic medicine and you're taken down off the internet. Things like this. It's like you're not allowed. Like some of this knowledge is just not allowed anymore. So that's what we're talking about tonight. And if you want to be a part of the show, we'd love to have you. We're doing this live to include you. If you have a story about this, or you think that we have the ability to maybe tap into our DNA somehow and become superhuman-like with abilities, whatever else, we'd love to hear from you. Phone number to call is 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Mike. I'm here with Ash. We're talking about extraordinary abilities by human beings. Don't go anywhere. More. We'll get to Wim Hof after the break.
The truth is out there, and so are we. KTLK, Digital Broadcasting, The Fringe FM.
Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. I'm here with Ash, your co-host, and we're talking about humans with super abilities. Have you heard of this? Do you think this is possible? Love to hear from you tonight. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. We're taking your calls. You can join the Discord. TroubledMinds.org is the official website. Phone number and the Discord is there. And we're broadcasting live on the Fringe FM, streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and DLive. And we're talking about all this crazy stuff. but we want to hear from you and what all this stuff means. So give us a call and let's continue. Let's keep on trucking, talking about the weird stuff in the world. And tonight, oops, that's what happens when you push the wrong button. Don't do that. Push the right button. There we go. I'm fumble fingers tonight. All right, welcome back, Ash. How you doing, buddy? Testing 1, 2. Earth to Mars. Earth to Mars. Do you copy?
Hello, humans. I'm still here.
Nice.
Can't get rid of me that easy.
Well, wait till we get the Russian hacks, then we'll get rid of you. All right, I think we might have John here in the Discord. I didn't check. He's been waiting a little bit. Let's go. Yeah. No, John left. Okay, we'll wait for Jay. John took off. We'll get Jay in a little bit. He's going to wait for the third hour. All right. So anyway, we're looking to hear from you guys. We're talking about these interesting instances of people that are able to do extraordinary things, right? We've got one guy that kind of didn't have a limiter when it comes to running, and he's able to run, he ran 350 miles in 3 days, okay? Like it's some sort of biological function that his limiter is broken. And so as a result, he doesn't have the recovery time of regular human beings. We talked about the young man in China that had the cat eyes that are basically like this beautiful shade of blue, and when you shine a flashlight in them, they reflect back, and he's actually able to see in the dark, which again brings up some other interesting questions about China, in my opinion. But we'll just roll with that and call that natural at this point. But you see the point here. We kind of started with the old the fable of that the woman having the car crash and having to free her babies somehow, and was able to pick up the car through like an adrenaline rush or a state of need and emergency, and the rest of this stuff. Like, what's actually happening? Is this something our body is capable of all the time, or is this just something we can turn on in a pinch, and we just don't have any idea how to turn it back on after these terrible moments kind of come and go? That's really the question tonight, what we're talking about. Do you have a little bit more there you want to talk about, Ash, before we get into Wim Hof?
Sure. Yeah, I'll talk. There's some interesting comments. William mentioned, what if Elon Musk's Neuralink can break a person's limiter? It's kind of like, I was really against the microchip brain thing. Kind of like, I'm just not into messing with my body too much. Natural selection is kind of godness to this point, and so I kind of let it rock. And if I'm not going to make it, I'm not going to make it. That's kind of like my genes suck. They suck. That's it. I'm going to do my best to eat healthy and whatever. But he made a good argument that you're already a cyborg with these phones, and you can do so much with them, math, whatever you want. You're just putting it into your brain. And we'll do it. We should do an episode. I'd love to do that where we talk about all that. But it's a pretty crazy thing, like what's possible. Hi, Bruce from Porto Nuevo. I think I said that okay. Mike, Ash, talk about the frogs. Well, they're turning gay. What can I say?
Damn it, Ash.
What can I say?
Yeah,
they are turning gay.
Come on, man.
It was true. It was
man.
ridiculous the way he framed it, but I looked into it. It was true. I was like, okay. I mean, I guess they are, but like, why are you yelling at me like this? Anyway, Alex has been drunk for like the last 2 years, dude. Like every interview I see him on, he's wasted, but he's hilarious. He's so funny. And then the last thing I saw in the comments was the Chinese seeing the dark. Maybe the government, the government's doing some super soldier projects, right? And so when these super soldiers are done, where are they gonna go? They're gonna go back into, what I'm saying? They're gonna go back into society. Maybe that's where some of this stuff is coming from. So who knows? I know China's doing some crazy stuff with that right now, and we could say that's immoral or not, but if it gives them the edge, then they win, then they could set the morals. Yeah, so that's kind of like the thing to watch out for. So I have a few other things. I have some psychic stuff, remote viewing stuff. That's kind of like its own category. I don't know if you want to crack that open. I do have a story where a man regrows his finger. Just glossing over real quick. He lost his finger to some horses. That's what I don't mess with horses. I'm deathly afraid of horses. Everyone laughs, but you can laugh, but you put me in a room with a horse, you're gonna see someone scared for their freaking life, dude. I will not mess with a horse, and they're like nightmares, bro. There's just scare the living heck out of me. But anyway, So yeah, this man horse paralyzed Superman. Okay, so a horse took out Superman. So that's all you need to know. But this guy loses his fingers, and they use pig stem cells. This is an old story, but he regrew his fingers. He was able to regrow them. So we have the capability to regrow limbs, lost things. And he says that he has to trim his new fingers more often because his fingernails grow back faster because they're younger. So, like, what does that mean? Like, what can we grow back? You know what I mean?
That's
I'm just saying, dude, with the technology and with the genetics we're capable of, I'm saying in the next 10 years, it's going to be nuts. Like, if you have, like, there's definitely the downside of it, the scary, crazy stuff that could potentially come of like super soldiers and all this kind of brain hacking, all this stuff. But there is the positive side where, people couldn't walk before, being enhanced hearing, sight, memory. It's pretty exciting. It's a little scary playing God, but you also at the same time get to play God. Which is kind of fun.
Exactly. And so interestingly, that's what's going to happen with Elon Musk, right? Eventually with the Neuralink, the first thing that they're going to be able to do that's like groundbreaking is that they should be able to restore motor function to people that have had like a catastrophic loss of it. And so, a car accident or something where it fractured spine and they never really recover and can never walk again type stuff, is that the Neuralink should be able to restore some of that in some capacity. So, I mean, technology it becomes miracles at some point, right? And the danger is, like always, like we talked about last night with the digital dog and the rest of this stuff, is that technology is good, and then for some reason people just find a way to abuse it and turn it into things it isn't. It's awful. But okay, let's get to this Wim Hof guy. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but this is amazing, right? I'm gonna read just a little bit of this, and I linked his YouTube video already. He's got like a beginner's course on his breathing technique, and his breathing technique in particular is what makes him a superhuman of sorts. Okay, let me read just a little bit of this. This is from healthline.com. All right. So your breathing rate and pattern is a process within the autonomic nervous system that you can control to some extent to achieve different results. You may not be aware of your breath all of the time, but through practice, you can gain a greater awareness of your breath and learn how to manipulate it to your advantage, right? The Wim Hof Breathing Method, that's WIMHOF is the guy's name, just like it sounds, Wim Hof. The Wim Hof Breathing Method. Let me put the phone line back up real quick because that's what that was dropping. Yay, technology. Live shows. Okay.
Yay.
Totally. The Wim Hof Breathing Method techniques have been developed by this individual named Wim Hof, of course, who is also known as the Iceman. He believes you can accomplish incredible feats by developing command over your body through use of specific breathing techniques. This is said to help you improve your productivity, performance, and overall well-being. Hof believes that learning to develop mastery over your nervous, immune, and cardiovascular systems will help you be happier, stronger, and healthier. And so not only that, so this guy, it's one thing to say it, it's another thing entirely to do it. And he's been doing it. He's been doing all kinds of amazing things that other people cannot replicate. And he takes it all and back to his breathing methods. And he's been on Joe Rogan a couple times. If you haven't seen him, they're fantastic. I was checking him out a little bit on Spotify. I had never heard of this guy, but a friend of mine linked it maybe 8 months ago, something like that. And so I've been watching him a little bit on Joe Rogan, and then also looking at some of his breathing techniques on YouTube, and even trying them myself, right? And he says that, kind of we're born, and then we have these automatic functions of our body. And then once we learn, kind of how to live with it as babies and growing up and becoming adults, we forget how to breathe. Like one of the most basic functions of the human body, we forget. We kind of leave it on autopilot, and our body is always in a state of trying to preserve energy and things like this. And so our breathing gets lazy. And so one of the most basic things of oxygenating our blood and keeping our our heart beating strong, and all these things is all based on our breathing techniques. And he says that if you don't actually consciously think about it and practice it properly, that you end up, in a bad way, in bad shape. And he says that, and he's done it. He's done it. So here we go. So he has the uncanny ability to endure cold temperatures in extreme circumstances. He developed this ability through extensive training that allows him to control his breathing, heart rate, and blood circulation. Hof believes that ordinary people can control their bodies to accomplish difficult feats, and he teaches these techniques through online and in-person classes. I already linked his YouTube channel there, and one of the breathing techniques. Try it out. I'm telling you, try it out. You feel different afterward, and some of them, he has like they turn into these extreme breathing techniques, right? And at some point, you end up maybe lightheaded. Like it's because your body is not used to having so much oxygen in it. And I mean, like, you think about that, and they say that, what's one of the biggest things that, can help cure cancer, right? It's been said that, oxygen is one of the things that can, is kind of like the enemy of cancer. So, don't take this as any kind of medical advice, please. I'm not a doctor. But you get what I'm saying, is that our basic function is breathing, like the most basic function of all things. And then it's one of the things that we really kind of leave to just our lizard brain, as it were, right? And I mean that in the best way, of course. But you understand, right? It's
wow, Mike. Wow.
I was hoping I could get that one by. Okay, all right. But anyway, you get it, right? Have you heard of this guy, Wim Hof, Ash?
I actually have, yes. And I tried the cold shower thing. Woo, that did not go well. I did that for like 2 days. And I was like, nope, I'm not doing that. And but I was on this kick of learning these different techniques. And his is interesting because you're basically flooding, you're breathing in and you're breathing out, but you breathe out less than you breathe in. And you're basically flooding your system with oxygen. And if you do it, you feel like a rush. It's kind of like, we're in a very complacent, lazy society. We're eating cheeseburgers and sitting around. We don't have to run from the tiger. We don't have to chase our prey anymore. A very sort of docile life, like you were saying before. And this kind of simulates that to some degree. And it really, really awakens parts of your brain. And when those parts of your brain are awakened, it gives you access to more. So I've actually used this technique. I'm not an expert with it, or just trying it out, and I've used it as a tool in my life a few times, and some moments where I really needed that extra juice, and it's really cool, man. There's a lot you can get from breathing. If you do shallow breathing, you're actually communicating to your body that you need more oxygen rapidly, and you can kind of put yourself in different states. It's almost like a controller to your emotional state. Whenever I'm stressed or I have anxiety, I just take deep breaths and I breathe, and I can kind of usually ride through it, and I'm like kind of good. And before I knew about these tools, it was just like, well, crap. Whatever that negative state I was in, that's what you were stuck with. So it's really cool stuff. I know he climbed like mountains in shorts, like Mount Everest in shorts. Guy's like nuts. He's always pushing it. And I respect anyone who's basically pushing the limits of like their will and what they can do, and really cool stuff. And I really love that he's sharing it with the world and teaching other people. It's really, really cool. Superhuman,
Exactly. So here we go. This is from that list verse that we started with here, and we skipped Wim Hof because he kind of is his own conversation all by itself, right? Like I said, check him out on Joe Rogan. He's got a couple of really, really great discussions he's had, and they're talking about exactly this type of stuff, being able to regulate the more passive parts of your body that people don't usually think about. So here we go. I'm going to read just a little bit of this so you guys understand who this guy is. So Wim Hof discovered his superpowers by accident. When he was 17, he was walking along a frozen canal in his home city of Amsterdam when he felt a powerful urge to jump in. So he did. He soon discovered that his superhuman ability to withstand the cold, which has led him to claim 26 world records. He tried to climb Everest in a pair of shorts. Although he made it through the death zone unharmed, he was forced to turn back not by the temperature but by a foot injury. Hof has run barefoot marathons in the snow and broken his own record for ice submergence 4 times. So researchers studying Wim Hof's remarkable abilities have discovered that he is able to override the stress responses in his brain through breathing and meditation techniques. When he is exposed to extreme cold, his brain releases opioids and cannabinoids into his body, inhibiting the signals that register cold and pain. What is not yet clear is how this breathing affects other physical and biological processes, such as Hof's superhuman ability to resist frostbite, which should be unaffected by his breathing technique. So there you go. I mean, the guy actually has, he's done some amazing things, and he credits it all to this breathing technique that he's been doing for a very long time. And, I think that kind of like that, just like you said, Ash, is incredibly inspiring, because it means that we haven't got to the limit of hacking our body yet. Like all the medical things and all of the pills and all the things we're supposed to take to be, good citizens of the world, right? To make sure that we're happy and healthy. Maybe we don't need a lot of that crap at all. Again, I'm not a doctor. Don't take this as medical advice, please. But who knows? I mean, this guy has done some amazing things simply through breathing and meditation. And if that can do what he's able to do, and other people claim that it works, what the heck, right? What the heck? What is going on with this man? Crazy stuff. Test 1, 2.
Well, yeah, it's sorry, I have to click the thing and do clap or this and punch the antenna, and then I have to pray to the overlords and give permission. No, but it's really cool, and I it's inspiring, and it's kind of crazy how we live in this modern age, and we supposedly know so much, and then we're still discovering stuff on techniques, and the internet's giving us access to each other like this, right? And we can transfer knowledge pretty quickly, and it's just pretty exciting. So it's cool stuff, good stuff. Have you so this is kind of falls in that category of entrepreneurship, self-help kind of stuff, right? Have you heard of manifestation and manifesting, the power, the secret?
Yeah. So that's it's got a more mundane description. It's kind of like setting a positive attitude and setting goals and things like this. But yeah, I know what you're getting at. Go right ahead.
Yeah, so it's like this. It's this concept where through will and basically, if you focus on something, you can kind of focus on something. You're very emotional about it, and you kind of imagine yourself in that scenario that you can manifest these things in your life. And that sounds kind of woo, guys, and I get that. That definitely sounds kind of woo. But I've actually had some weird experiences, and I've used the technique, whether it's a placebo or not, to make it work. But I will tell you one quick story is that one day I was going out for looking at. I was just driving around, and I was looking at open houses, and I'm like, there's this one house up. I just look at the signs. That's all. I've never even been to one, but I was like, wouldn't it be cool to go to one of these really nice houses? One of these nice ones. And they're like, yeah, we should go. I'm like, sure, we should go sometime. Which means never. And then the next day we're driving, and they're like, we got in a couple hours. Let's go. And I was like, okay. And I just went. And while I was there, I was talking myself up as if I could afford the place. I was kind of BSing a little bit, right? You got to do that, because otherwise you're wasting everyone's time. You don't want them to know that you're that guy. And I met a guy there, and I told him he met me, and then we became friends. And then months later, he was like, yeah, the night before I met you, I was manifesting and channeling, and I wanted to find someone with a specific skill. And I was like, what? Really? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, that's my skill. That's what I do. And it was so weird, because I've never been to an open house before. It's like that guy freaking yanked me there. It was so unusual. And it really felt like it was forced. Like he forced me there. So I don't know. You hear stories like that. Jim Carrey, he wrote a check for himself for $2 million. And then when he finally made it, he got a check. It was $2 million. So, I don't know. Is there something more? Is there Is there like is there like kind of like a soul? Do we have like powers over this reality? I don't know. And that's kind of stuff I'm interested in. That kind of stuff seems kind of nuts, but also exciting and awesome at the same time.
Yeah, as long as you got to tap into the devil to make it all happen, right? I mean, that's this ritual incantation.
That's true. That is true.
You guys know me.
No Ouija boards, guys.
Exactly.
No Ouija boards. No deals with the devil. Okay.
My sixth sense of humor. I'm laughing at morbid things, but I mean, I guess that's it, right? Making sure that I think it all starts with our mind. It starts with our body, and it starts with things like this. Again, if you guys haven't tried this Wim Hof breathing method, maybe many of you have, and I'm kind of late to the game here. It's all good, right? It's sharing the information, but it does. I think it kind of invigorates you. It makes you feel a little bit just more positive about things. I don't know. Maybe it is that it's kind of like having your vitamin D or not. It's kind of like one of those life hacks. Yeah. I think it's very possible that it affects your mood. It affects your energy level. It affects all kinds of things. That again, we forget how to breathe. We forget to do some of the most basic things. And as part of this show, right, one of those basic things is think. And so that's why we do this show, because we want to talk about these things and make us kind of get together and consider the things that people believe and why they do. And you don't have to believe them or not, but it is a wide world out there, and we don't have to be stuck in the same cycles of monotony that they tell us we need to be. There's a wide world, and we're responsible for ourselves. And we got like 30 seconds, Ash, so go ahead and finish this.
Oh, okay, so perfect. So okay, Project Veritas today got caught. They caught that I won't say what network it is. It's either CNN or Fox, so it doesn't matter. They both suck. So they got caught saying they were basically hyping up COVID to scare people to get more ratings. And I'm not saying COVID's not real. They got caught, like one of their top guys. Look that up, Project Veritas, and see that stuff. It's pretty intense. That came out today.
Yeah, I talked about
Speaking
that
of what you were saying
yesterday. Yeah, it's totally true. It's totally true. This is our reality, guys. Don't let the mainstream media and the mass brainwash crap, don't let them take it from us. This is ours. We belong here too, and we're going to keep talking about it. Freedom is a thing. The right to be wrong is a thing. And that's why we do this show. That's why we talk about these crazy topics sometimes. And we talk about, the Bill of Rights, too. So hang around. If you like this show, we talk about all of that and more. You're listening to Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. This is Ash the Reptilian from Mars. Check out his YouTube channel, please. It's just like it sounds. Ash the Reptilian from Mars. It'll be linked on our YouTube channel at Troubled Minds, and you can find him there. And if you're listening on The Fringe, stay tuned for Joe Roop Lighting the Void. Fantastic stuff. If you're listening to us on YouTube, D-Live, or Facebook, hang around for a third hour of Troubled Minds. You guys are the best. Be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening, guys. From our Troubled Minds to yours. We'll be back tomorrow night. Have a great night. This is Michael Strange from Troubled Minds. Did you hear that scientists recently discovered radio waves coming from Proxima Centauri? Well, I cannot confirm nor deny. We are broadcasting from that neck of the woods. You are listening to KTLK, The Fringe FM. So we are off of The Fringe, and we got another hour coming up. Let me turn this down just a smidge. One more hour left, and we're still talking about this stuff, and we're still taking your calls. What do you think about these superhuman powers and all the rest of this stuff? Do you think it's something we can tap into, like built into our DNA, kind of like Wim Hof does through breathing and meditation techniques? Do you think there's something to these ancient texts, or do you think it's all a bunch of bullshit? To put it bluntly, I'll start with the first bad word of the final hour, because well, we can do that now. You want to be part of the show? Love to hear from you. 702-957-1037. Join the Discord, troubledminds.org. Come say hi. If you've never called before, tonight's your night. I'm looking at you. If you can hear me, I'm also talking to you. 2 minutes break, guys. It's going to take 2 minutes. Tuck the kids in. Top off your drink. Grab some popcorn. Do what you got to do. Hit the restroom. We'll be back in 2 minutes for one more hour of Troubled Minds with Mike and Ash and you. Don't go anywhere. Be right back. I hate when the music ends before I get back. What's up, guys? This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. I'm here with Ash. We're talking about superhuman abilities. And do you think this is possible to kind of unlock them through these things we've been talking about tonight? Wim Hof, for example, with his breathing techniques and the things he does. Is this real? Could it be possible that your average everyday human being can unlock extraordinary abilities by simply breathing properly, breathing correctly, and being part of a reality that is kind of no longer exists unless you want to bring it back, right? I guess that's what we're talking about tonight, and that's the deal. That's why we do this live to include you, and we've got Kelly. We've got Kelly calling in. We're going to go to him, and if you guys want to be part of the show, I'm going to put the phone number up. If you've never called before, tonight's your night. I'm telling you, we love the first time callers. The more, the merrier. We want to hear what you think about this stuff. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. And welcome back, Earth to Ash, Earth to Mars, testing 1 2. Are you there, buddy? Are you there, buddy? Can you give us
I are present. I'm here, man. I'm here.
Alien screech?
Bro, I ain't no monkey. You can't just ask me to do stuff on command.
With that said, okay.
Hey, wait. Real quick. The remote viewing. I did it, dude. I did it as the show was booting up. So this is like my worst effort at it. Okay, you picked a target, right? Drum roll. You picked a target.
I did.
Did your target was it like someone with sunglasses or a hat or something like that?
No, it was not.
No, complete fail. Okay, I failed this week, guys. Okay, I failed this week.
All right, here's the thing.
Not a person.
So it's not fair because I could change my mind right now and troll you. So what we'll do next time is we'll have like a third party, and I will send what I'm thinking to you. I'm sending the thought to you, but I'll send the actual thing to somebody else so we can verify from a third party that I'm not just fucking with you. Is that fair? I think that's probably the better way to do it.
That's fair. And keep in mind when we do this is the remote viewing thing. So this is basically like we're practicing psychic shit, right? So we're just gonna do it for fun once a week while I'm on. We'll see if I nail it one of these weeks. But yeah, it was really tough for me. Like in a hurry, I couldn't really. It was hard to sense anything. I just kept getting like that Men in Black or some guy fishing. I'm like, what the crap? Like I just kept getting it over and over again. So what was the actual target? And you got to pick something new every each time.
It was a banana.
It was a banana.
It was a banana. That's over there. There's a batch of bananas over there, and they're actually not even black. They're still yellow. Right over there on the shelf. Yeah. Yeah, so
okay, all right.
So next time,
I got soft.
Yeah.
I got soft.
So next time I'll be able to send a picture to somebody, a third party, we can verify, so you can't see that I'm fucking with you. But yeah, I mean, it's good stuff to try and maybe think about these things as being possible, right? You look at the Wim Hof breathing technique, and this guy's able to do amazing things, and other people have claimed they can do amazing things as well. Let's give it a shot. I kind of like it. So let's save that for the third hour. We'll go straight woo, and we'll do a remote view test every week with Ash just to see if we can actually get something. Yeah, bananas. Yeah, a stack of bananas.
Honestly, I got something really soft, and I drew the shape of a banana. But then when I was probing it, I got like a vest and a hat. And like I kind of got shades. I'm like, is this like MIB? A guy with sunglasses? A fisherman? A military cop? Like, nah. So fail.
I thought I'd troll you with the dick shaped object, and so it worked. All right.
It was nice and simple though.
It was nice and simple.
What if I came back and said it was something phallic? Then I would have. In my book, I nailed it.
Right. You're like, it's an obelisk. I'm like, oh shit. You're like, it's yellow. I'm like, oh shit. All right. Kelly.
You put it in your mouth?
Jesus. There you go. See, that's what you get on the third hour of Troubled Minds. We digress into Beavis and Butthead. All right. We're going to go to Kelly on the phones. You're included in this, Ash. Let's do this. Kelly, you're on Troubled Minds with Mike and Ash. How are you, my friend?
What's going on there, fellas?
You already know, man. Wim Hof, breathing exercises, superhuman abilities. What do you think about this stuff?
Well, actually, that's some of the stuff that I've been, when I talk about some of the stuff I've been researching is some of that superhuman ability, magic, supernatural, or what the humans would call a supernatural, something that they have never even seen or laid their eyes on or witnessed. But yeah, that Hop guy, I've seen him years ago, when he came out with his stuff. But also, he's been on different stuff, like different human abilities. Or, they had the one where, what was it, for like, he was trying to find different X-Men. That guy that was like a real rubbery, but he'd run around, for the old man and try to find like people with real human abilities. But yeah, his is all, I believe, is like an all mental thing. It's mind over matter. If you don't mind, then I guess it don't fucking matter. But yeah, he's pretty incredible.
I was just popping off. You good? Keep going.
Go ahead, Kelly.
Yeah, keep going.
Wait, there's a weird delay with you guys, so I'll manage that. Go ahead. Sorry, Kelly. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, what's interesting about him, he does like the breathing techniques is actually been used in, the Asian culture with, Buddhism and Hinduism. They do all that breathing techniques as well. Actually, everybody should be doing that. It's actually really good for your lungs and, for your body. Introduce more oxygen into your system. But yeah, it's an incredible feat what you can do, with the mind. The mind is very powerful. A lot of the stuff that I've, looked into, and again, like if you go biblical, for people that want to go biblical, there's the Gospel of Thomas talks about that. It's almost like the Hindu thoughts of how, it's like your consciousness. If you can become one with your consciousness, overcome the ego and whatnot. Yeah, you become very powerful. We have the ability. But somewhere in, like you bring up the Sumerian thing, what I think is, they also shut off the age of the length of our age, how long we could stay alive. We're more or less like them, so we could live for hundreds of years. So what the thing about it with them was they could live for thousands of years, like the Sumerian King list that you brought up there, Ash, was. But from the beginning,
I knew I'd get you, Kelly. I knew you'd call in. I that was a trap. That was a trap. I knew I'd get you.
So yeah, you got me on that one. But yeah, their kings lived for thousands of years, on their planet, but they got here, and they obviously did. Throughout the king's list, it shows them, their age getting slower or shorter because their bodies weren't used to the atmosphere or the gravitational pull on this planet, which aged them faster. But other than that, it's in our DNA. Like I said, we talked about this before, and I always say, like, it's in the DNA, like in the age. You want to, age longer, see longer years, or, touch other people can and have the ability to do these things. And China, actually, that you guys brought this up, China, and this was back in the 80s. I remember watching a show, and they were talking about the human abilities again. You know, it was another one of these weird shows like After Dark or whatever. But yeah, China has been doing this. They've been actually searching for their people in their own like small villages and everything, asking for people if they know they got, you know, abilities like these kids. So this little girl, one of the ones that was pretty interesting, this little girl, she could walk up to a plant or a dead plant and just touch it. It would come to life, and it would actually even bloom flowers, and it would grow real rapidly, real fast, and you had the ability to do that.
Go ahead, Ash. You want to respond to that?
Stuff is like,
let me cut you off there, so we don't go too long without having some interaction here. Comment on that, Ash?
No, that's yeah. So it's funny about the Sumerian Kings. I kind of like only knew the periphery of it, and it's interesting. It's basically like it's like an origin story of this kind of almost invasive species that kind of came here, and so it's really interesting story. And it's definitely something that I think we should all kind of keep tabs on as we move through, become more advanced. We learn more, you know, maybe potentially like a breadcrumb to something of real truth and value. But yeah, you mentioned about China. You know, China's turning into like the new Nazis, bro. Like, you know, if you watch, if you look in comics and you know the all these different things in history, like the Nazis were pretty interested in the occult and the paranormal. And supposedly they got their hands on some aliens or met some alien stuff. There's all kinds of stories, and they had the bell and all this stuff. And it's kind of like China's down to clown too, man. I wouldn't be surprised if China had some guys like drawing pentagrams and throwing Chinese soldiers in there, you know, and doing all kinds of stuff. They're down to kind of try everything, which is kind of like, it's horrible, but it's also kind of exciting because like, you know, to just like learn about reality. I don't know. It's a double-edged sword. It's like, yeah, it's interesting. Like, you know, we could just cut everything else out and just this show could just be keeping tabs on China, you know, and what they're doing.
That's a full-time job.
It's pretty nuts.
Totally full-time job. All right, sorry. Go ahead, Kelly. I know you had more. Just want to make sure we have some interaction here. Go ahead. Carry on, sir.
Oh, that's fine. You know, sometimes I just go off on a tangent, but yeah, I understand. Yeah, so there was another thing too. I mean, because if you even look at, I know that's kind of like in their culture, you know, it's kind of in like, you know, it's been in there for thousands of years, you know. I'm talking like, you know, the Shaolin monks, their ability to do some stuff, you know, like, you know, they could bend swords, you know, they lean their body into swords, you know, they might be a little bit flexible, but still, they doesn't penetrate the skin. Or, you know what I mean, they can do some, stand on their head for I don't know how long, or there's those kids that can wrap their legs around trees, their whole bodies, and grab their feet. And I mean, the human body is pretty incredible. I mean, there's limitations to it here because, you know, we are on this planet, but, you know, I believe that, you know, you gotta, that's why I don't really deal with a lot of the new age fandangle stuff, you know what I mean? When I look into some of the, you know, I look into the ancient stuff, like I always said, you know, on your guys' show that, yeah, you're going to find all these, the hidden things that you know, not everybody's going to need to know, you know what I mean? It's kind of like the Illuminati, but that could be a whole different story where, you know, they got their stuff, which is actually from Egypt, yeah, you know, in Africa, where the whole, you know, even the way they dress, you know. But anyway, all these ancient stories, you know, even in, you know, the Bible, the Quran, you know, all of them, they all talk about superhuman abilities. You just got to listen, read between the lines to figure it all out. I mean, if they're putting it out there, some of those books I'm pretty sure are hidden too, you know. And, you know, that's why they changed all of our language, so it's harder for us to find all these things throughout the world. But now with our, you know, technology, TV, video, you know, you don't need mainstream media to, you know, to lie to us. We can just figure it out ourselves, and, you know, as long as you research the stuff, and you'll find it.
Yeah, you know what? I don't need anybody to lie to me. I can lie to myself just fine, thanks. We don't need this mass media brainwash garbage. We can do just fine truth seeking all by ourselves without their interference. And that's part of this, right? That's literally, it's unbelievable the amount of brainwash that's happened. I mean, you know, like even the old days, like in the 80s with like those 3 networks or whatever the crap they had out there. It's terrifying, the things they try and kind of press down our throat, and the things they make us believe about our own reality that are not even true, right? It's all PR. It's all marketing. It's all a bunch of bullshit in most cases. And here we are, you know, trying to untangle that, and we're outnumbered, man. We're outnumbered, but we can still have a conversation. So I'm going to call that a victory, right?
Oh yeah, even if one person takes this knowledge and runs with it, it's even if it's one person at a time, you know, it doesn't need to be mass. You know, like shows like yourself, though, you know, you could put it out and, you know, share this information with everybody that wants to listen. I mean, all you have to do is listen. That's the thing about it. Most people think that, oh, they're out there trying to brainwash. You know, that's religion. What I try to do is try to open up your mind so you can make decisions for yourself, and that's why you know, most people come to this station here with you guys, and, you know, we become a family, and that's how our information is shared, you know.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And it only takes one, you know. You're completely right. I always said this, you know, like people have challenged me and said, well, you know, what are you trying to do here? You know, like, what is the goal of this? You think you're going to change the world, some shit? And the answer is no. No, I don't think so. But I hope that one day, you know, us as a group, we inspire the person who inspires the person who inspires the person that maybe will change the world, you know? Like, you keep putting it out there, and eventually somebody with more smarts than us, more ability than us is going to be able to pick up something and run with it, hopefully. And maybe, you know, there are kind of these trickle effects to you know, being kind to each other, to having a conversation and being able to disagree and not hate each other or not call each other names. I mean, just log into Facebook and look. Like I always say, those engagement algorithms, man. People always shitting on each other in the chat. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like, literally, this is what we become. Like, you know, saying fuck you in the chat and, you know, middle finger emoji. Really? This is where we're at because of a political argument, no less. Are you shitting me? What a joke. What a joke we've become. It's embarrassing.
Yeah. That is very true. That is very true. Yeah. It's you know what, it's like almost, it's that's just the way they want it, though, you know. I mean, it's easier to people can just, you know, they think they could just do what they want or whatever, but yeah. I don't know, man. Hopefully people just catch on and, you know, like sometimes I have the knowledge and I know what they're looking for, but I don't, sometimes I don't even want to give it, like, you can't give all the answers, you know what I mean? They have to, I give them the direction to go. That's how I like to, you know, help people out. I try to give them the direction to go, you know what I mean, until they, you know, they got to research it for themselves because it even feels better, you know what I mean, when you find it yourself and, you know, the light bulb comes on over their head and they finally realize, like, holy shit, you know what I mean, there is a different view or maybe that is the answer or something, you know, but it's not really to change somebody's mind per se, but to give them a different, you got to look at everything from different angles at all times. Right. You got to learn at times and constantly absorb all that, you know. But some people refuse. They want to be still plugged in to the system, so they're happy.
It's easier, you know. It's an easier life to just be plugged in and not worry about that stuff and just be happy. Discernment is a skill, man. It really is a skill. And as you know, for whatever reason, you get better at it, or you're not good at it, and it's kind of a skill you have to learn for yourself. You can't just like you know, it's like that saying, you can take a horse to water, but it doesn't mean they're gonna drink it. Or like, is it teach a man to fish? That's what it is. You tell him the answer, and then okay, and then he can eat for a day. But if you teach him to fish, then he can eat for a lifetime. You want people to be their own living, breathing discernment machines, like figuring stuff out for themselves, so then you can have a conversation together. But I will say that like 10, 15 years ago, I was into some fringe stuff, which I still believe, but like, and I couldn't talk to anyone about it. Nobody. And even before coming on the show, I noticed that the rate of people being aware of things has gone up. I will say that. So there's a positive thing in the world that, people, even when people like getting their vaccines right now, and I'm not claiming to be for or against it. They'll be like,
be careful.
I know. I know. They're like, I got the nano machines, or I got this or whatever. They're joking about it because, in the back of everyone's head, it's like, we don't know. Like, no one knows, right? You don't know. So I don't know. Mike doesn't know. We don't know one or the other. But it's cool because people are like hearing these things. I met a girl at a cafe and I brought up something and she's like, oh yeah, Sumerian tablets, Zachariah incision, and she was like a hot 20-something-year-old girl, and it's like, wait, what? What did you just say to me? Like, you knew all that stuff, and we have channels like Joe Rogan, and I think the curiosity is there, and I'm really excited about that. I think it's a good thing, and these channels like CNN and Fox News and stuff are like losing their power over time. They're these smaller channels are gaining traction, and the kind of mainstream narrative is kind of shriveling up. But hopefully, I mean, that's how I view it.
Which is why they got to crack down. So you see, like the type of censorship comes is because they sense that threat. Is that we're capable of having conversations amongst ourselves and not shitting on each other like they constantly do to us. And it's a threat. It's again, think about it. Living in the upside down that I always talk about. The upside down means this. We're able to have a conversation together, share information, agree or disagree, and not hate each other and come back next week and do it again. That's a threat to them. Like, right? If that isn't the upside down, I don't know what is. Like, that should be the goal that they try to achieve. But no, they want to brainwash the shit out of us. Kelly, a final thought. We got a call behind you. Let's wrap this up, my man.
No, man, just like you guys were just saying to the, mainstream media, no one listens to that garbage anymore. It's just, it's almost like for entertainment to listen to all the lies that they, spew out anyway. But yeah, people are getting there. They're waking. There's a lot of, the awakening is happening, I feel, even if it is one person at a time, man. Other than that, just be good yourself and to others. Yeah, take care of yourself, man.
Thanks, bro. You too. God bless you and the fam. Thank you for calling. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
All right, man.
Thanks. That's Kelly from Colorado. The very first guy to ever call into this show. Go back in the archives and check it out. Go back and check it out. All right, we got, I think I want to say this is MJ. I want to say this is MJ? Is this MJ? Let's go to this call. MJ, right? Is this Michael?
Yeah, it's MJ.
What's up, MJ? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike and Ash. How are you, my friend?
Good. Did Ash say something about riding horses earlier, or something about a horse?
He said he was terrified of horses, yes.
Oh, because I used to train horses for a living.
Nice. Can you enlighten him? Tell him the horses aren't as bad as he thinks?
He's laughing because he knows they're the devil. No, he's laughing because he's the devil's trainer. That's basically what he's saying. He's the master of the demons. They're scary, bro. One horse kicked a hole through the wall right next to my head, and I was like, nope, never again.
That's nothing.
That happens all the time.
You guys are talking about superhuman stuff.
Yeah, go ahead.
And when I was doing readings, one thing I was able to accomplish, or it just started happening, was if I was talking to somebody on the phone and giving a reading, and it happened by accident in the beginning, and I was able to kind of call on it later on, but I could see them in real time. As I was talking to them, I could see them with my mind's eye. So I don't know if that's superhuman, but I thought it was kind of cool.
Okay, so horses have this conscious ability, is what you're saying, to maybe connect with people, and you're able to tap into that? That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I'd have people call me up, and then I was able to, I could search through their house while I was talking to them.
Okay, elaborate, please.
Well, it's basically if I say giving you a reading, and I could just, and it always entered in a, like there was a light on in the house someplace. I'd always enter through that, and then I could just start visually just moving around their house until sometimes they would, find them or be right there because they had a light on next to them. But it's basically, I guess, making like it's eliminating time and space, or like a wormhole with your third eye. I think it's called astral projection through your third eye. But I thought it was interesting because it eliminates time and space. It's like it's immediate. It's like you're in the same room with them in a sense. So I thought it was kind of cool. I thought it was cool intel.
That is cool. Can I ask you? Can we test this? Can you tell me where my car keys are right now? I'm serious. No. I'm serious. Maybe you can help me, because I've had a problem today, but I'm sure I'll resolve it soon. But if you can help me out, I'd appreciate that. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. Hey, I was like, hey, I saw the opportunity. I thought, hey, let's fix two problems at once. Yeah. All right, so
I just thought it was kind of interesting that and people talk about their abilities. Can they actually do that? Yeah, you can. There's so many things out there that you can actually sit and do. Sometimes I'll practice walking around the house with my eyes shut and just practice seeing my house through my third eye, because I know where everything is, but can I actually visually open up and see it that way? Because I've done readings like that where I've been in a room and I could see somebody moving around in the background with my eyes shut, but I could see them. So stuff like that happens. It's just, I don't know where you'd put it, but
it's like a weird sense that you can kind of train over time, and you can you get better at it, and it's faster. And it's hard to describe, but it's never 100% either too. And it's just like a weird thing, but you kind of know it's true, it's possible, and you do it. Yeah, it's nuts. We're actually going to talk about a lot of that soon in the next act, so you should stay tuned in. I think you're going to really like the next segment.
Okay.
The next act. Here we go. We got a call behind you.
Yeah, I know. It's like the next act.
MJ, you're the best. Your calls are always the best. Final thought. We got a guy behind you on the phone. Let's finish this up.
I don't know if I have a final thought.
Let me ask you this then. If you don't have
horses.
Let me ask you this real quick.
I was training horses. I was able to picture in my mind what I wanted them to do, and they would do it.
That's amazing. Let me ask you this then. Have you heard of Wim Hof, and what do you believe about that? Let's make that your final thought.
I've never heard of him.
Okay, so that the breathing technique and the rest of that.
That's my final thought.
Okay, cool. Never heard of that, dude. Final thought. That's my final answer. MJ, you're the best.
That's it.
Thanks for calling, bro. We'll talk to you soon. Okay. Have a great night.
All right.
Thanks, guys. That's Michael J from the Fringe Discord. A great dude. He's had a lot of great calls, and we got another one. Let's go to another call. We have before we do that, wanna. We got some guys in the chat trying to help me find my keys.
Let me get a second crack at that remote viewing thing.
All right.
I'm in your pants, Michael.
Oh,
I'm in your pants.
I was wondering.
I'm looking for your keys.
Okay.
I see a banana.
Dude, you got it. Dude, you got it.
That's a callback joke. That's a good one. That was a good one.
Yeah. You have to rewind if you missed the reference. You have to rewind if you missed the reference. All right. Any comments on MJ's call there before we move on to the next one?
No, yeah, I didn't want to I just want to let him talk into his story, but I'm all about that. The remote viewing. If you guys aren't interested in that kind of those abilities, that's an ongoing science. There's actually scientists looking into it, trying to figure out how to do it, how to make it more consistent, better, outsourcing different things, and I think that stuff's interesting. I think there's something there, right? There's definitely something there. And with the whole alien thing, all the alien stories, all of it's telepathic. It's like some sort of telepathy. So even if just one of those stories are true, telepathy is real. So and you can kind of feel that with different animals. You just kind of sense what they're saying. And there's animals communicate in weird ways. So it's a very interesting topic. That's really cool stuff. The astral projection, remote viewing. It's kind of all different names, different labels for some sort of something, right? Something else. And people are out there, man. They have these weird sixth senses. you know, like where synchronicities where someone will pass away and they know it like that second, or they'll be thinking of someone and that person calls them, you know, that moment. And I've had weird stuff like that you just kind of like gloss over. You're like, that was weird, and then you kind of move on. But some of those things are so improbable. It's like, how the hell? So anyway, it's definitely an interesting topic. Cool stuff. Thanks for calling and sharing. And if could you tell the horses with your psionic powers to stay the hell away from me? Thank you. I appreciate that. Just do a mass broadcast.
Thanks, MJ. Okay, look, and so weirdly, you mentioned that you kind of have the ability to think about somebody sometimes when they call you. My mom does that shit all the time. I'm like, huh. I wonder how my mom is. And then the phone rings and it's my damn mom. I'm like, what the like, really? This shit's weird. Like, I don't know if I'm reaching out to her or she's like tapping into me. I don't know. Weird stuff, but it happens a lot. It happens a lot. Anyway, here we go. We got one more. Oh, not one more. We've got more calls. We've got another one right now. We got more, which is going to be you. If you were a first-time caller, you've never called into the show, we want to hear from you. The bigger we make this family, the more we have a conversation. Break the ice. Just get your ass in here. We'll be nice to you. Look, I've got a track record. We have a track record. Go back years. And look, we've probably had like 99% of our calls be all good, right? We're like cool to each other. It's fine. We're nice. We're going to be good to you. Like it's a thing. All right. There's no need to be shy. I know it's like everybody gets like the jitters of being, quote, on the air or whatever. You got Ash, you got me. We're here to take care of you. Give us a call, 702-957-1037. Join the Discord, troubleminds.org. Get your ass in here. Looking to get some first-time peeps that have never called, and get your ass to Mars, right? And we got a couple comments real quick before we take this next call. Bruce on Facebook says, practice, you can achieve anything. Amen, brother. And Elizabeth says, open your mind. Like, you remember that Quado from... Total Recall. Open your mind. What's up, Elizabeth? Thank you. All right, let's go to this phone call.
I was like, oh God, what's that from? Open your mind. And I can even see the hand. I'm like, what the hell? A freaking weird hand. And then as you said it, I was like, oh, it filled the rest of the dude in. It was good. It's funny.
Quado.
Yeah.
Was the guy's name. All right, so
that's a great movie. Yeah, have you gone back and watched that? I'm sorry to tangent. I went back and watched that movie. I was like, wow. Actually, you go back and watch old movies. You're like, fuck. And, it was good when I was a kid or something. That's still a good movie, dude.
It was good. All right, I had this call drop. I'm going to call it back. I'm going to press the callback button. Let's try. I've never tried this. Sorry if I'm calling you back and it's going to be weird, but let's try this. Let's try this right now. Let's see what happens. We made the guy wait too long, whoever it was, and they bounced. So let's see. Test 1, 2.
Hey, Mike.
What's up? I'm calling you back, man. Sorry we made you wait. Who am I speaking with?
Matt from Oregon.
Matt from Oregon. How are you, my friend? Welcome to the show.
Yep. Sorry, I don't know what happened.
No, you're good. I thought you got sick of waiting. That's why I called you back. Go right ahead. What's on your mind tonight about the superhumans and all the rest of this stuff?
Yeah. We talked about that. I said, the kind of stuff I learned about and stuff, and I'm interested in it. And kind of real quick, my motto, I guess, or catchphrase, like, don't fear what you don't understand. Try to learn and, read books and research stuff and never stop learning. Because you find out if you're not afraid of it, if you learn about it. And never stop learning. And then, so with this these powers, we're scared of that because a couple of things, there's good people in the world and there's bad people in the world, unfortunately. And people like us, use astral projection to find a parking spot. I'm okay with that. But then on the other end, superheroes, supervillains, there's other people out there that might try to hoard it or, control the power and abuse it.
Exactly right, and I think it goes with everything, right? It goes with these types of abilities for people that can remote view, or it kind of gets into that chemically enhanced or transhumanist super soldier, right? Like that type of thing. So we're like, okay, humans can do extraordinary things. We're talking about that tonight, and it's pretty well established, right? Maybe not how to unlock it on a particular basis. Some people have figured it out, some people haven't. Some people it's genetic, some people it's not, etc. But once you start unlocking these abilities in humans through like technology and through drugs and through like all kinds of other things, right? Like we have this, we've talked about this in the past on some other shows. It becomes a military thing, right? It's like, all right, well, we can make these, you know, like that dude that can run, you know, 350 miles in 3 days. Do you think Hitler would have loved to have an army that could do that? Hell yeah, he would, right? And so that's what happens, right? Is all the bad people start kind of commiserating, getting together, thinking about, well, what if we had an army of super soldiers, right? That could do unnatural things. And that's where we get. I mean, it's unfortunate, but everything ends up in like a military context. And yeah, like I said, good people, bad people. Terrible. Have you ever had any instances where maybe you believe you can unlock some sort of superpower yourself?
Yeah, I research and study. I've done astral projection a couple of times. Like I self-taught myself to do it. That's pretty cool. I do Reiki. You guys know about that? And I do Tai Chi. That whole breathing. That was like helps me.
Okay, so what has it helped with? Can you explain maybe specifically, just in brief?
Like how you talking about the guy that breathes. You know, like helps you like with anxiety or like help you calm down. There's all kinds of stuff with Tai Chi. It's like a workout. It like works out your spirit, I guess. And I do Tai Chi. You can do Tai Chi at home. It's okay. And then I did Tai Chi. I look like an idiot, but do it on the beach and get like a better breath. And I've kind of like not unlocked things, but I've like experienced heightened like in my mind thoughts and things.
So it's a thing. It exists. I believe it. I believe it. If you guys haven't tried that Wim Hof thing, I seriously recommend it because it is. I think it is. I think it's one of those things that we forget how to breathe. And the most basic function of the human body is like the oxygenation and the heartbeat and the blood flowing through to all the limbs and all the things. I think it's real. I think this is real. And it's just just like Ash was saying a little bit earlier, we live in this modern society where we're sitting on the couch eating cheeseburgers, watching Netflix. And of course, like there's no reason to try these things, but there really is, if you, it can improve your life, I believe. And, I didn't used to believe in the power of meditation, right? Like people say they meditate and all this other crap, and I'd roll my eyes and be like, whatever. but it's not that. It's, you know what I mean? It's not mystical, I don't think. I think it's literally like a chemical function of our body that we have not really, practiced. We just don't practice it anymore. And it's part of that is the breathing technique, right? I mean, it's built into us.
So,
go ahead.
It's like a skill. Like exercising. You exercise. It's like a skill you have to practice. So how you learn an instrument, practice. So it's like you have to practice and hone the skill.
Yeah, you know how to get to Carnegie Hall, don't you?
No. Practice.
that's from a Quentin Tarantino movie. That's all right. Go ahead.
I don't want to take up all your time. Thanks for a good show. Like I said, learn and keep learning. Like even a master can learn more stuff.
There you go. Exactly. There's no end. There's no end to the education. I thank you for the call, my friend. We'll talk to you soon. There you go. Simple as that. You guys can dial the phone number. You get on the show. You talk to me. You talk to Ash. You talk to whoever. Pretty good stuff there. Comment on that, Ash. We got Jay in the chat here, but he just wants to listen. But go ahead. What do you think about that, Ash?
No, yeah. I mean, a lot of people have had different experiences. What's funny is a lot of people have had experiences through drugs, through the magic power of drugs. You do enough drugs, you have some crazy trip, and all of a sudden you see some stuff that changes your life. A lot of the people say when they go to the DMT realm, they do a DMT and they leave. It feels more real over there than it does here, and just have some profound experiences. And some people have claimed they get so stoned or high or whatever, they leave and they see the limits of the matrix and all sorts of stuff. So, is there kind of is there another realm? Is there something more? And we talk about all kinds of stuff on the show, but there's this common theme is there something behind the curtain Is there someone back there? What's he doing back there? When you're a kid and Santa Claus is coming down and every year, and it's like, why hasn't my mom gone to sleep yet? Just kind of have this like little suspicion, and I just feel like there's a little bit of magic to life, and it's good. It's like it's good to have that, right? It's good to have something to kind of like that magic, that Christmas that goes forward. And some of these things are more practical, like you were saying, the breathing technique. It's pretty common sense, just biology sort of thing. But some of these other things aren't, And so we're talking about superpowers. We're talking about all kinds of superpowers, from like the traditional woman lifting the car, getting her kid out, right? Like something she's not supposed to do, to cat eyes, to daredevil humans. And so, we had a lot of great calls, and I really appreciate you guys calling in and sharing your experiences. They're all very interesting stories. So that's kind of where we're at. We got more stuff. What do you want? Where do you want to go from here, Mike? You drive this bus.
I gotta. Don't tell me that. I'll run this bitch into a ditch. don't tell me that. All right. So we got. There's all kinds of other stuff, right? So this is from PC Mag. 13 humans with real life X-Men mutant superpowers. I'm gonna link this, and let's smash through a little bit more content here. It's good to hear from you guys. It's also good to have some extra content in the back half of this. So here we go. I'm gonna drop this in, and we're gonna talk about this. This is from again PC Mag. I got it up on the stream. We got a couple, right? This guy's super endurance. We talked about a guy like this that was able to run, but here we go. Finnish Olympic skiing champion Eero Mantiranta. There you go. I tried to practice that earlier and I couldn't say it then either, so at least I'm consistent. They've been the first Finnish sportsman to test positive for hormone doping, but he probably didn't need it since he had a genetic super endurance powers. Along with other members of his extended family, Mantiranta had a condition resulting from a mutation in the, oh god, this is the one I couldn't say. I tried this 3 times and I couldn't do it. All right, I'm gonna do this. This is the word. I'm gonna have Microsoft Mike help me out here. This is the word. Resulting from a mutation in the
erythropoietin receptor gene.
Yeah, there we go.
This resulted in the ability to carry 50% more oxygen in his bloodstream, a trait that is quite advantageous in endurance competition.
Okay, so there we go. That's thanks, Microsoft Mike. Thank you.
That's so funny you did that. Oh man, that's so funny.
They're big ass words, man. I'm not a scientist. Fuck off with your fucking 44 syllable words. But anyway, okay. There's more, right? There's this other young lady that with a super strength. When you think of genetic disorders, physical frailty may be something you can imagine, right? And actually, you brought up that movie. What was that? Was it Unbreakable, right? So they had. If you haven't seen that, it's got Bruce Willis and it's got Samuel L. Jackson in it. It's fantastic. It's kind of really at the heart of what we're talking about here, and it's kind of like a superhero comic book style, but like kind of genetically based in people unlocking powers or them kind of manifesting and becoming. It's good shit. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. It's a slow build, but it's really good. But here we go. So in that movie, as I leave you hanging on what the fuck I'm talking about, in that movie, one of the superpowers is that one of the guys, and I won't tell you who to ruin it, is super intelligent. But as a result of that, he's a super genius, right? But as a result of that, he's also super frail. It's like his body can only handle so much that he ends up becoming really, really intelligent, and then as a result, his body is kind of failing him, right? And so we have a guy on the other end who's not necessarily stupid, but he's kind of invincible. Like he's in a bus crash or something, and he like survives it when nobody else does, type thing. But anyway, just as an example there, right? Talking about frailty being an actual superpower. But check this out. So Liam Hoekstra made headlines in 2009 as the world's strongest toddler. He has a rare genetic condition where his body blocks the protein myostatin, which inhibits muscle growth. Individuals or animals with this deficiency tend to have much larger muscles with little body fat, which is basically an inherent super strength. While Liam doesn't appear to boast any fantastical car-tossing strength, he is naturally stronger than all his peers without doing any training. The only downside to this condition is that he must eat more than most in order to keep up with his body. So there you go. There's a couple we can touch on. What do you think about that stuff, Ash? There you go. How would you like the super strength without training? That's pretty sick, right?
Damn, sign me up for that, bro. Let me break me off some of that guy. I'm gonna smoke him, eat him, figure out how to get that power. You know, in the District 9 movie, there's this entity, and this guy's turning into an alien, basically, and all these warlords are trying to eat him because they think they're going to get his powers. That's me. I'm my reptilian form trying to get this guy's powers. But you can see how evolutionary advantage-wise that sounds good, but when resources are scarce and your body's trying to get jacked all the time, you're like on HGH all day, every day. You're, you could see how that couldn't be an advantage. But in today's society, and you mentioned this earlier, can we isolate that? Can I get that turned on? So I talked to a scientist briefly, and he had discovered how cells communicate with each other. And so what I gathered from that is that with lots of research and advancement, you could mass communicate things between cells. So basically you tell all the cells to do something and it would be a chain reaction. So I surmised from that, based on the research he was talking on, that you could very shortly, soon, get a shot and it could change your genetics. So let's say you isolated that guy's gene, used CRISPR, got the tech, the software, used this guy's cell communication and plugged it into your arm. You could rewrite your code, and then there you go. Now all of a sudden you're jacked all the time, And this is the future we're kind of approaching. This is part of it's like the tech. I don't want to we don't want to go into that too much, but it is part of this. It enables this possibility where we're all superhumans. Or, how much would you pay to be able to see in the dark? What if there's a genetics company? Oh man, I can even see it. It's like a sci-fi movie. Welcome to future tech, human tech, where you are not limited by your human biology or something like that, and you can literally buy these things. I mean, I'd like to be taller. I put some money on that.
I'd like a larger set of feet. Let's see what I did.
Banana.
See what I see.
Banana. Hold on one sec. I'm remote viewing.
All right.
I also think that I'm just.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No. I'm gonna take the Donald Trump line and be like, the size of my hands has nothing to do with everything down there. We're all good. All right. So.
Well, I can't even believe that happened. I'm
in an actual presidential debate. They're all talking about this.
He's talking about his hand. Yeah. There's quite a few things that happened. I was did that really happen though?
That shit happened. That shit went down. So anyway, here, let's back to this. PCMag.com. Now this is another guy. This dude, Michael Lotito, was a French entertainer known as Monsieur Mangitao. My French is awful. I probably butchered that, or Mr. Eats All. Throughout his career, Michel consumed all manner of non-consumable objects made of glass, rubber, and metal, which he would often accompany by downing mineral oil. One of his most impressive feats was consuming an entire Cessna 150 airplane, which he ate in small bits over the course of 2 years. There are a couple of things going on here. First, Michel appeared to suffer from a condition known as pica, P-I-C-A, a disorder characterized by the appetite for non-consumable foods like dirt, rocks, and metals. But what makes Michel, see, my French is awful, truly notable is the abnormally thick lining in his stomach and intestines that made it possible for him to eat sharp metal objects and consume toxic substances, which would have killed a lesser person. What the fuck? He ate an entire Cessna 150 airplane. Tell me you've heard of this guy. What the hell? OMG. Yeah. This is Troubled Minds.
Wait, I didn't even register what you said. What the hell? Wait, what?
The dude ate an entire Cessna 150 airplane over the course of 2 years. Broke it down in little pieces and ate this. And he had this super lining in his stomach that allowed him to eat all kinds of toxic and sharp and all wicked shit. What the hell's that, right? So imagine
What the hell is that?
Yeah, what the hell is that? It's right here. It's on. Wait, let's see what website this is. This is PC Mag. So I mean, I give them like a probably a neutral in the fake news spectrum. So I'm willing to believe this just based on the source, but who knows? But anyway, I mean, there's a YouTube vid here. If you guys want to check that out, here you go. I'll copy the video and
I'd like to see that cooking channel. That guy's YouTube cooking channel. He's like, so what I like to do is I like to take a car tire, get some hot sauce, steam it for about 15 minutes, and I start with the tread.
Exactly,
what the hell?
Right.
Wait. How does this even happen though? Like, what was he? I mean, if the guy fucked the thing, that would be more normal to me than if he ate it.
You're like, dude, that's my next claim to fame, guys. I'm gonna bang a Cessna 150 airplane. You watch.
I'm gonna look at a Guinness Book of World Records. I'm looking for something.
No. But okay, so NS in the chat says that's not a superpower. That's a mental illness. Well, I don't know though. Like if he was actually
these days,
if he was doing like making some money off this and it didn't hurt him, I mean, I guess I don't know. Like he had a super lining in his stomach, but I'm not so sure about the super lining on the backside. You know what I'm saying? There's got to be some damage there.
Yeah, there's no lining in the brain. That's what you're saying. I got it.
Exactly.
Got it.
I digress. All right. So this is we did Mary Lou Henner. We already talked about that. Here's another one. So actually, no. Let's not do these. All right. Anyway, so what do we got? We got a few minutes left. So let's wind this up. We have time for you guys. If you have we have a few minutes left. 7 minutes before we finish the show ish. There's no time limits. Nobody tells us to go to bed. Mommy's not telling us to go to bed. So we've got some time for you. If you guys call, we'll talk to you. 702-957-1037. Join the Discord, troubleminds.org. What do you think about this stuff? Do you think that it's possible that if humans have superpowers, right? One, are we able to tap into that as kind of into our old school DNA? Is some beautiful, amazing abilities we forgot over the course of the mainstream media, because they want us to just remember yesterday. But or is there something to this where maybe CRISPR can start to take all of the different genetic dispositions of these people and start to put them into the super soldier, right? That can kind of run for 350 miles straight. That can eat staples on the run. That can do all these crazy things, right? I mean, it's pretty terrifying, the super strength. Once you start stacking up all this genetic stuff that we've talked about tonight, and and then the Wim Hof breathing techniques. What if you were able to give like super soldiers like increased lung capacity? I mean, we have like a whole bunch of like amazing stuff that could really happen. But I guess the question is, do we want these things to happen?
Well, let's get into that. So there's actually I've actually talked to people about this specifically because I knew some people who were financially capable. They had finances wasn't a limitation for these sort of things. And when you have money, and you have everything you need, there's one thing you can't really just buy infinite of, and that's more time. So a lot of the elites are kind of interested in not necessarily immortality, but like, yeah, freaking immortality, as much as they can get, right? So what happens is so they were talking, they had all these different methods of like doing transfusions with younger people with DNA matches to kind of basically rejuvenize your blood, which has its own giant conspiracy rabbit hole. But yeah, there's various techniques that people are exploring now. The elite are. So imagine you're a billionaire, you'd be willing to fund these sort of projects. And what's going to happen is that there's going to be this initial period where, as this technology comes out, the elite are going to get a hold of it. And if they get a hold of things that make them superior to the rest of the population, can we actually get into a situation where our elite are not only wealthier than everyone else, but like physically and mentally superior than everyone else? They get an edge, and then you know how the media panics, how the elites panic, and they lock it down. And now there's two classes of people. There's like the pseudo gods and the not. And I actually was like interested in writing like a little sci-fi novel about it and kind of exploring this. But they do explore this idea in a show called Altered Carbon, where people can basically their like consciousness is in a little component that is inserted in their neck, and your body is just like whatever. You can get a new body, but if you have the finances, and so the elite can upload their consciousness. They have access to awesome bodies. These bodies are already pre-programmed with all these genetic and cybernetic enhancements. Like there's military grade bodies, all this kind of stuff, and they explore that idea. And basically, yeah, this elite emerges, and with wealth, it's the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, right? It's like the more wealth you have, the easier it is to attract more wealth. So if people are living for a long time, they're genetically superior, all this stuff, that edge gets even greater. And it's almost kind of like a poetic thing where maybe these floods, these natural disasters are from our gods to keep this place kind of like wholesome, to keep it whole, to keep it from slipping into that sort of darkness. I don't know if any of that stuff's true, but it's an interesting idea, a thought experiment. What do you think about that? And what do you think about that, audience? You guys calling in. What do you think about the super elite? What do you think if you could pay an extra $1,000 to make sure your kid's 6 foot? Or like has cat eyes, and as you're having your kid, you freaking fill out a form or with an iPad and you click some buttons, and it's like, oh, blonde hair, blue eyes. What does it mean to be what does it mean to be a human at that point if you could just design it and make it? And I don't know. It's a can of worms we're opening up, and we're not really thinking about it.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out to the UK crew. I know you guys stay up late for us. Some of you are going to bed. Thank you for staying up late for us. It means a lot. That's one of those things, right? You stayed up late to hear us ramble into the night, and we appreciate that quite a lot. I know it's very late over there. Shout out to Tamron. What's up, Tam Bam, for waking up early to come catch part of the show here. I know you guys are at different parts of the world, and it's a little hard to keep up with us. So you don't realize the honor you bestow upon us, and I mean that. It sounds stupid to say coming out of my mouth, but staying up late, waking up early just to hear us talk is it's special, and we appreciate that a lot. So just want to point that out. Say good night to the UK crew. Say good morning to the South Africa crew, and let's finish this up. You guys are the best. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thanks for being part of the conversation as it continues. This is not done. God willing, we got tomorrow and the next day, and we'll continue. But there's so many things, right? And so many things tie into each other that this is a conversation worth having. I think definitely for sure. Let's finish this up, Ash. We got a minute or two, and let's wrap it.
All right, this is the part where I fucking plug so hard. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's always an honor to be on the show. Thank you for listening to me ramble about crazy stuff, and I'm glad. I appreciate that if you guys want to listen, and thank you for all the callers. And we love you guys, and thank you for tuning in. And it's just, if it was just us talking to each other, we'll just go in circles and go slowly slip into madness. So the show is about you. Check me out, Ask Reptilian Mars on YouTube. The more you pressure me, the more I'll produce content. I got a lot of stuff in the pipes. Thank you, Bunny. Shout outs to Bunny, always supporting. I love you guys so much. And thanks again. Great show, good topic, good company, and that's all you can ask for.
Amen to that. Thanks for being on the show, Ash. Tomorrow we'll be doing our thing. Coming up, I'm not sure we're going to start the conspiracy news of Michael Strange. It's coming up soon. I've got the setup right. I've done some tweaking, so we're good to start it. I'm not sure when. I will announce it on the Discord. It's a second podcast we do, a second live show. So if you want to be part of that, join the Discord if you have not, and you can. I'll notify you when we go live for that. Troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link, etc. So on. So anyway. We're done. We're finished for the night. Thanks again, Ash, for being here. Thanks everybody for contributing, staying up late, waking up early for us. Like I said, I know that means a lot. Getting me to wake up early for anything is let's call it a difficult prospect. I need more Wim Hof breathing if you catch my meaning. But as we finish and continue we're going to finish the show. However, we're going to continue this conversation because, God willing, we still have tomorrow and the next day. All right? So this is all one large conversation, even though we try and split it out into different topics. You guys know what's up. Tomorrow may be all over the map. It may be aliens. It may be freedom. It may be... who knows? I have no damn idea at this point. But you never know, right? We'll take a look at the news and see what tomorrow brings. And we'll just continue talking about the things that I think are important. And I hope you think they're important too. If you're still here at the end of the night, probably you think this stuff is important. It's worth talking about. It's worth thinking about. It's worth spreading the message. And as long as we can, we're going to keep doing it, okay? You guys are the best again. Thank you for staying up late. Thanks for waking up early. Thanks for just doing your thing and being part of this. It is special. It means a lot to me. And yeah, done. Fini. Finazzle. Well, how'd the happy days go? Something like that. Anyway, as we complete the show tonight, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific, we go 2 hours on Fringe, then we go a third hour with just us, talking about all kinds of stuff. If you guys have, again, remember, you don't have to be Linda Moulton Howe to be on this show. You don't have to be any of those folks. You can just be you. And as you can tell, right, we got all kinds of people calling from all over the damn place, and it's good. Because where else would you talk to somebody from the UK, like Penny? You see what I'm saying? Where else would you talk to somebody from the Philippines or from Singapore, right? Or South Africa, for instance. Like, there's lots of things going on all over the world that, regardless of flags or borders or any of these things, we still have a common interest as people. And it's worth talking about, it's worth thinking about, and it's worth the time. And that's why we've spent the time. You guys are the best. Have a great night. Tomorrow we'll be back at 7 p.m. Pacific. And this is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. This was Ash the Reptilian from Mars. Thank you, Penny, for linking his chat there. Everybody follow the Curious Bunny on YouTube. Check out our friends John and Tim on D-Live at Tinfoil Timothy. It's all linked on YouTube. You can find all their stuff there. Come check them out. Friends of the show and contributing and helping and definitely good stuff. Like I said, I'm humbled we've gathered such an amazing crew, and that means you. If you're still listening, like I said, you've been dubbed a super fan. So hang tight for more stuff coming. We got more content in the works, and it's on the way. Join the Discord if you have not. For right now, we're done. Untroubled Minds. I'm me, you're you, together we're us. Be sure, be strong, be true. Thanks for listening. From our troubled minds to yours, have a great night. Sleep well, be good to each other.